Hey everybody, you are listening to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream, and I'm back, baby. Whee! It's going to be a good show. Happy to be back in the saddle, of course. This is Basil here. Yeah, it's more or less going to be a normal show, but I'll be sharing some things from the Burning Man research mission. Thank you to everybody who supported that while I was gone, supporting guns while I was gone. Of course, everybody loves guns. That's not even a question. But we are glad that you are back. Quick reminders, as always, head on over to canarycry.party. You can sign up for the newsletter there. Very important newsletter, not one of those lame newsletters. Lots of, well, good information just to have in your mailbox for when you do want it, such as the art from the show, the sources from the show, updates, special, the meetup schedule is in that newsletter, and it's just a very valuable resource for everyone. Head on over to canarycry.party, and you can sign up there. We just send out an email before every live podcast, so it also reminds you when we're going live, things like that, easy links to support the show, produce the show, as well as access lots of our resources. Other than that, not a whole lot else to announce. I'm realizing I did not have my video monitor up, so I am now stalling to do that. That will help me know what's going on on the show. Oh, also, I'm going to record this one. I'm going to go ahead and press record on Audition. There we go. Okay, now I think we're ready. So everybody sit tight, and if you can, go ahead and share out this link. Let people know that the show is happening. You never know. Sometimes people just don't know about the show. All right, folks, here we go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is September 7th, 2022. We are live to tape for episode 531. And today, Portal Squeeze. Signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
Hey, welcome back, buddy. My name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, a.k.a. the Cabana Boy, live from California. Here to serve you a podcast that brings you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. Today's emergent phenomena is soup's dystopic.
Oh, okay.
Trying to appeal to the youngin'.
Oh, soup's like super, not soups like S-O-U-P.
Yeah, you're not
liquid food, as they call it on Earth.
It's either or. It's both. We're being served dystopic soup, but it's also soup's dystopic.
Okay. Yeah, we are really, really in tune with the young people around here. Thank you for that very much, Gonz. Well, I'm happy to be back, and I'll be slowly giving some updates and content from the Burning Man research mission out there. I think you guys will like it a lot. But first, Gonz, how about I give you a rundown?
Run me down, baby.
Oh, geez. Okay, well, we're going to start out by checking in over on the Eurozone. Those Europeans, we got to pay attention to what's going on over there. Lots of new headway, stepping stones being trod upon for the Great Reset and, other sort of nefarious agendas. But after that, of course, we'll have the Flippy update, and boy, oh boy, is Flippy getting delicious. Then we'll be revisiting the topic of sewer surveillance. That's right, our claim to fame, sewer surveillance, with the city of San Francisco planning to make a big purchase, big buy when it comes to sewer surveillance. And then, of course, the exportation of the American dream, America's number one export itself. We'll be revisiting how how whoever's in charge of this stuff is trying to convince us that other places in the world are more American than America. So we'll let you be the judge. Then, of course, we'll be checking in with Russia, Ukraine, China, Japan. Big things happening. What does this mean for us? And then we could not go a single episode without Biden making a hilarious and yet truthful gaffe. Well, we'll see what he has to say. Then I think we will be saying goodbye to YouTube today, although we'll see if that's necessary or not. But we will be checking in with COVID, the vaccine, why God gave us two arms. We'll be checking in with some of Biden's experts and what you can look forward to in the future of the COVID schedule. And then, of course, as the robots take over, as manufacturing becomes more automated, as the lower classes of people in this world are continually having their way of life, their opportunities, and their livelihoods stripped from them by our robot overlords, there's a new job that only humans could possibly take away from the robots. That'll be at the end of the show. But first, Gons, let's check in on the Eurozone, our lead stories.
Man, that was a long rundown. The music ended like 5 hours ago.
Oh, no. Did I disappear?
No, you're fine. Can you not hear me?
Oh, I just heard you say 5 hours ago.
Oh. Yeah, well, maybe it did cut out for a second. But here, let's just get into it.
We need a great reset.
Learn to use the dark side of the Force.
Yeah, so over the weekend, Liz Truss was named the new, Prime Minister of the UK?
Yes, Liz Truss, the Prime Minister of the UK. We finally have a Prime Minister that is not Boris Johnson. For better or for worse, we have Liz Truss, a very interesting individual. I'm sure, we'll be covering a lot about her in the future. But there was one very interesting detail that, of course, will not surprise anyone, but is just important to put on the record. And so we can all say a collective, we told you so. And that is, Gons, if I can direct you over to the World Economic Forum website, weforum.org. Guess who shows up on the World Economic Forum website? That's right, it's Liz Truss. She's got her nice picture there, nice sort of Hillary blue suit on, with a big chunky necklace. Looks like necklace. A bunch of something. It kind of looks like either fishing bobbers or pokeballs, depending on.
They kind of do look like pokeballs.
Yeah, depending on your.
Gotta catch them all, Liz Truss.
Yeah, and she's working on it.
Make a necklace out of it.
Says here, Liz Truss, Lord Chancellor and Secretary of the State for Justice, Ministry of Justice of the United Kingdom. So they have not even updated her title on the World Economic Forum website.
It's a very, sad page. Yeah.
Strange page.
It's weforum.org/people/Liz-Truss.
So I will point out a small piece of misinformation or disinformation or malinformation, who knows? Well, I'll let the government decide. Going around the social medias, there's a screenshot of this website and some people are claiming that she is on the list of young global leaders. And as far as I am able or not able to verify, that is not true. I do not believe, or at least I cannot verify with the World Economic Forum itself, that Liz Truss is a young global leader. However, she does show up on the /people page.
Right. So she's definitely a WEF person.
She is affiliated, or at least the World Economic Forum. You know, it's kind of weird because they really don't make any claims as to why she's even on the website.
Yeah,
there's no there's no explanation like, we are best friends with Liz Truss and she's one of our favorite lizard. It's simply a blank page on weforum.org/people/Liz Truss. No explanation. It is possible that they just sort of put her there. Just, I don't know, gain credibility or something. I have no idea.
I did take a peek at the Wayback Machine to see when this particular page was published. And I actually don't know when it was published directly. But on the Wayback Machine, the earliest this page was snapshotted, is that the right word? Was February 1st, 2022. So there's nothing from 2021 or anything prior to that. So, yeah, she was just added into the on the website just kind of randomly in February.
I thought was pretty interesting, actually, because right around February is about the time that what's his face, Boris Johnson, started having all of his sort of innumerable irreparable scandals that led to his stepping down or whatever. But all of that really started right around February. And of course, also notably, the war in Ukraine started in February. And so I don't know. I can't really make a strong tie between all those links. But it seems like if the World Economic Forum or whoever was ready to get Bojo out and put in somebody new, slapping
lizard. Trust the lizard.
Exactly, our most trusted lizard, Liz Truss. If she, if somebody wanted her in, that would be the time to kind of just slip her in on the website, which apparently is exactly what happened.
Yeah, I did see some stuff about her. No white men. As part of her campaigning of in government in UK government, so maybe.
I missed that.
Yeah,
I did not know that was a thing. She famously has made her thoughts very clear and very simple on just how willing she is to launch nuclear missiles.
Oh, good. So that's right. Yes, I kind of do remember that. Yeah.
Very excited about that. So we wish her all the best. And I might as well just get ahead of it. We're just going to need right now to get a Liz Truss jingle going. Liz Truss. Trust the lizard. I don't know. You'll figure it out, Jingle Boys.
Lizard Truss. Okay, well, one of the things that will stay in Europe over there and things going on with the energy crisis, well, it's hitting CERN. Wall Street Journal reports Europe's energy crunch squeezes world's largest particle collider.
Oh, no.
What are you going to do? And it says here, Europe's energy crisis is threatening to slow experiments into the fundamental forces of nature. The European Organization for Nuclear Research, or CERN, is drafting plans to shut down some of its particle accelerators at periods of peak demand, said Serge Claudet, chair of the center's energy management panel. CERN is also considering how it could idle the Large Hadron Collider, the world's largest accelerator, if necessary, Mr. Claudet said. Yeah, idle. Quote, our concern is really grid stability because we do all we can to prevent a blackout in our region. Yeah, so they're aware of it. They're aware that they're an energy black hole, literally. The preparations show the far-reaching impact of Moscow's move to transform Europe's dependence on Russian energy supplies into a weapon of economic war. There it is. This is an energy crisis, energy choke to create a weapon of economic war. I thought that was pretty telling.
Yeah, of course. Interesting. It does. I mean, it is fun to consider. Perhaps everything going on in the world, we think it's a bunch of lizards trying to enslave humanity. Maybe time travelers from the future or whatever came back and had to cause all of this worldwide strife to shut down the power at CERN. Because, you got a tool capable of creating a black hole that could destroy the solar system. Well, might just be the job of the time cops to come back.
The time cops.
Yeah, the time cops. They come
told
back.
Putin, hey, shut off the energy because, hey, we got our agenda too.
Oh, I'm bringing it even further. They make it a 3-year plan. They release a future disease to distract everybody while they plot to instigate a war in Ukraine, which leads Putin to turn off power to Europe. Boom, shut down CERN. Universe is saved. Interesting
idea. Yeah, it's either that or the lizard people are trying to open up that portal. It's jammed. They're like, we got to restart it. Who are we going to blame? Putin. Putin's economic energy war is causing us to freeze the thing. Well,
meanwhile, there's a lizard. There's a lizard down there with a hammer tapping on the solenoid trying to get it going.
Yeah, there's a little bit more in the article here that's egregious. CERN's aim is to keep the LHC operating and to avoid a sudden shutdown that could disrupt the $4.4 billion machine, Mr. Claude said. Can you imagine disrupting the $4.4 billion machine? CERN would give priority to shutting down other accelerators besides the LHC, lowering the center's electricity consumption by as much as 25%. So they're begging, they're like, we'll shut down all the other ones, but we can't shut down the main one. And they go into the reason here, and it's because shutting down the LHC would save another 25% with the catch. The collider relies on superconducting magnets cooled to negative 456 degrees Fahrenheit to bend the particle beam, requiring a significant amount of power even when the beam is turned off. Allowing the magnets to warm up could set back experiments at the LHC for weeks.
Oh no, not weeks. Weeks.
Shut it down for a setback of weeks. And then CERN officials are putting together a plan for pausing experiments that they will present to representatives of the governments that fund the center at the end of the month. Quote, if we're given a budget to do science and voluntarily we stop science to spare energy, we have to make sure we have the support of the respective countries, Mr. Claude said. It's pretty outrageous. And then later here, they ask, basically they say, hey, other companies in Europe, they're being asked to maybe shut down or go into the stock, stock supply of energy for customers and whatnot. And this guy Claude has a quote: "A stock of particles at high energy?" Mr. Claude said, "No, I'm sorry." So there is no stock energy to maintain the Large Hadron Collider. They have to keep it running. They can't warm it up because it'll set them back weeks. And they're trying so hard to keep this portal open. It's just Putin.
You called it egregious. The other part of it is it's pretty egregious. The fact that they probably won't shut it down.
No, they won't. Why would they?
They'll keep it going. They'll
science.
Use all the energy. And again, you might think, well, whatever. Okay, so it's some energy. Now, this is energy that people in Europe should be using, or it should be going toward. Heating their homes, keeping their lives running. Cooling too. Yeah, but going into winter, fall and winter, of course, will also be very cold. Yeah. Energy prices are skyrocketing. The middle class is being gutted out. There is that movement. What is it? It's Don't Pay UK. Have you seen this?
No.
Don't Pay UK. It's a petition. It's like an activist movement to try to get 1 million people in the UK to not pay their electricity bills.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because the electricity cost has gone up. I don't know, something crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. I've seen the screenshots, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
And along those lines here, this is obviously Europe, but it's bleeding into California here where I'm at.
It's Newsom science, baby! Ha!
This is the DailyMail.co.uk. We got to go to UK outlet for this. California governor urges residents to limit power use as thousands in San Fran area without power. And
oh no,
the social medias were exploding
Again, hilarious. San Francisco, one of the largest homeless populations in the country.
Yeah.
Of course, there's thousands of people without power. There have been thousands of people without power in San Francisco for 30 years. But they're talking about, middle-class people not having power. Well, now we got to tell people to save.
The French Laundry was trending because, they're saying, oh, hey, Newsom will keep the lights on.
How much power do they need?
Yeah, keep the lights on at French Laundry while the rest of the people fight each other for an ounce of energy. We'll come back to San Francisco a little bit later, but it's all part of the game here. It's all unraveling for us.
Indeed, it's unraveling, just like the week we are in, Gons, and we are in the midst of the unraveling because it is Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Hey guys, know what day it is? It's Wednesday. It's time for the Canary Cry News Talk. Yeehaw!
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday. Wednesday is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday, my dudes.
Yeah, it must not be easy living over there in California, Gons. You're being asked to conserve energy. I will say, you gotta get out of there, man. Not just out of there, but just out of society. You gotta go off the grid, man.
I know.
Nobody can turn my power off until it's a slightly cloudy day.
Yeah, well, we're trying to figure things out, but yeah, we actually got a note from the local energy people saying that, hey, you guys have moved up into the top percentile of people, saving energy, and it's because our air conditioning is broken. The fan doesn't even turn on. It's been broken for weeks, and we're in the middle of a heat wave, and so it's been very, very hot.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not safe for the babies, man.
The children. So we're trying to keep the children cool. And the thing that's really annoying is that if we call our landlord, we've been trying for the last 3 or 4 years for the landlord to actually fix or at least replace the AC unit because the coolant it uses became illegal in 2013 or something. So it's almost been 10 years since the coolant has been illegal in the state, but they won't replace it. Yeah, and
doesn't your landlord live in India or something like that?
They go back and forth from America and India, and every time we call, they raise the rent on us. So asking them to replace the AC unit.
That's what you get for complaining.
That's what I'm saying. So it's all right, well, we'll deal with it ourselves. So I had to put down some hard-earned producer support to get an AC unit, one of those portable ones that goes in the window there to try to keep the place cooler, and it's not working great.
That is a just cause.
Yeah, but
now you can try. But you're at the office. I was gonna say you can try the ice vest. We can both wear ice vests. Get on the ice pack train, bro.
Yeah, sure.
You can start living like an off-grid emu rancher.
Yeah, well, I already have the children and the dogs and stuff climbing all over me. I don't need them to be laying on me any more than they already are. So.
Oh yeah, okay. Big Daddy Cold Gons is what they'll call him.
Yeah, but hey, you know what? I'm earning points with Newsom. The energy people. They're like, hey, you're doing great. Keep it up. It's like,
that's what I was going to say.
We're melting over here.
That is going to reflect very well on your California social credit score.
Yeah, my ESG score.
Yeah, you'll be able to fly on planes. And
yay! Do I get to eat with Newsom at French Laundry? Is this my?
No, not quite that far.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, you got to drive a Tesla to be able to do that.
Oh, okay. Even though.
Speaking of heat, Gons.
Yes.
Notably, one of the hottest Burning Man festivals ever.
Welcome to the camp of the unknown God.
Coming to you live from
Burning Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I had heard that jingle. That's
well, things happen when you're gone.
Yeah.
Psalm 40 and producer Caleb coming in with those.
Thank you very much. So you got my first missive, my first message from the desert. And I was hoping to do a lot more of those, and obviously they did not. I will tell you, Gons, this is by far, by a wide margin, the most difficult Burning Man mission that we've ever done, for a lot of different reasons. And I'm not going to give the full breakdown right now, but pretty much every day had new and exciting disasters waiting for me. Of course, I shared a couple. Broke down before even making it there, made it pretty close, broke down like right outside. But that, opened up the opportunity to, kind of share what I was doing there and talk to the guy there at the gas station, stuff like that. And that's kind of the theme of the whole trip, was something disastrous would happen, but it would, the Lord would open up very interesting opportunities to talk to people, have conversations that I really just probably wouldn't have had before, just because of being stuck in a situation. Number one, thanks for nothing, Elon. The
what happened to Starlink?
The Starlink didn't work.
Oh, man.
Didn't work out there. And other people's, I don't know if you were kind of keeping people posted or whatever when I was
a little bit.
The very few times I was able to get messages out to you. But yeah, the Starlink didn't work. Didn't work. Elon, thanks for nothing.
This is the guy you want to put microchips in your brain? Can't even get Wi-Fi to the desert?
Even worse. Other people's Starlink was working fine.
Ooh, it was like, targeted. Targeted, bro.
I don't want to play the victim here, but I was the only person whose Starlink would not work. And I imagine I was the only person planning on doing a mainstream news deconstruction and analysis podcast live from the desert. Coincidence? I don't know. I will leave it to you.
Elon did promise us.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
Except you, Basil.
I was not connected.
You were not connected.
So that was a whole thing. It literally took me a whole day to try to get it working.
So
and
did you bring it? Didn't you have like a troubleshoot guy?
Yeah. So
he didn't help you?
Hours. I took hours and hours, probably about 8 hours, trying to make it work myself. Couldn't make it work. So I could see on my phone that other people had Starlinks up. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to go talk to one of these other Starlink people. Let me go see how they got it. Took me a few hours, found somebody. Wasn't really a help there, but the person said they would come by in the morning and help me set up my Starlink. They said they could help me troubleshoot. They do it all the time.
Sure.
They just never showed up. Never showed up. Never saw them again.
Of course.
Yeah. So that didn't work. Then my generator broke, or didn't break, but broke, I guess. Sprung a huge oil leak. So I couldn't run my generator. Disaster. Spent another whole day fixing that. And here's the thing. Believe it or not, Gons, I did not bring the materials or the expertise to do a fairly major generator repair. So I had to go from, I just literally wandered all day, it's crazy. It was over 100 degrees, wandering around, going camp to camp, asking people if they have the oil, if they have this, have that.
Do you have Starlink?
Right. This was a wonderful experience in the end, because I finally made it to DPW. This is the Department of Public Works at Burning Man. And they are sort of the organization of people who volunteer to kind of like make everything work at Burning Man.
Sure.
And they have like a mechanic department or whatever. Finally made it there. And gruff, like
hold
not
on.
very friendly.
I'm sorry for the live streamers. You cut out for like 5 seconds. I couldn't hear what you said.
Okay, no worries. So I made it to DPW. Now, the DPW, Department of Public Works, they have a reputation for not being very friendly, for kind of, I don't know, just very gruff group of people.
Yeah.
They deal with a lot. They're working. They don't get to have fun really as much as everybody else. And they've also been there for like an extra month, some of them. So they've been living in the desert for a month. They're very hardened warriors. And so I was kind of worried about that. Now I'm just the dumb kid who's coming in asking for oil, asking for engine parts, when it's really not their job to help me out. In fact, it's explicitly not their job. But I had a wonderful experience meeting the auto shop guy and got to talking, and kind of the same conversation that I shared with you about the first breakdown, in that he was very friendly, ended up giving me everything I needed and giving me some tips on how to fix the thing. And, asked me how I was doing, how it was going. I said, well, not very good, complete disaster, over and over and over. I'm here for a podcast. The producers of the podcast, which are also the listeners, paid for me to be here. Kind of feeling the pressure to bring back some good stuff, and open up this wonderful conversation. Now, he didn't fall on his knees and proclaim Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior right there, but we had a lot of wonderful conversation. Ended up recording a bit of it because part of what I was wanting to get was people's opinions about the role of Burning Man, not in their own lives, not as a party or whatever, but as a social engineering sort of petri dish. And a lot of these people had no idea that really what goes on at Burning Man and how it's used to sort of program the software of the world at large, and how the principals and the lecturers and things like this go on to, join the World Economic Forum at Davos and have a hand in the new world order, things like this. Almost nobody knew this. And everybody had quite the experience of the crazy, googly-eyed guy sharing this with them. So that was like day 3, completely full 3 days wandering around the desert, 100+ degree weather, not getting anything done. Honestly, barely surviving. I was pretty discouraged at this point.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
And there's more. Yeah,
not
really
safe,
there's more and more and more, and I will, because I could honestly go on for hours about it, I'm going to slowly talk about it over the next few episodes. We will be releasing some material, playing some special segments, and I'll be telling you about more disasters that happened, because there are so much more, and they're so much worse. And yeah, there's some pretty... on top of everything, I went to some pretty heavy lectures, again, very focused on participation in what the new world order looks like, really sort of revealing a lot of plans, some things that are imminently taking place, which, thank God, we can get some forward knowledge of this, as well as some really actually incredibly heavy and sad things that happened that I will be talking about in the future. So there you go. I'm back. Sorry for rambling, but thank you to everybody who helped make this happen. It was not easy, but I do feel grateful to God and to you guys for helping make it happen. And I'm hoping that we can continue to play a part in sort of keeping tabs on the sort of global implications, the worldwide implications that come from that transformative festival. And we'll also be doing some interviews and stuff like that, and possibly, making it on some more RSS feeds, some more classic, old school RSS feeds.
Yeah.
So keep an ear out for all that.
Yep. Well, we have, this is when we usually thank our executive producers.
executive producers.
That's right. We are value for value, baby. No corporate money whatsoever. But you, dear listener, we rely on the support of our listeners who can rightfully and proudly call themselves producers. And the executive producers are those who come in and help carry the heavy load and are generous and really, really go a long way to keeping this show going. And our executive producers, well, we love them so very much. But bad news, Gons, no executive producers today. You know, I'm very proud and grateful to everyone who supports this show all the time. But especially, you know, when I came back, I got back, and I kind of had to reorient myself to what the situation was. You know, checking, you covered a lot of my jobs, the administrative jobs that I do for the show. Yeah. And so I was looking at all the producerships from when I was gone, and I was just my heart was warmed. My heart was warmed with how generously and faithfully everybody was producing the show. I'm very grateful for that. And this is usually when we have no executive producers. This is usually when I say, well, there's still time, folks. You can still executive produce the show by heading to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
But today, I don't need to do that because I just looked at our back end here. Literally seconds ago, we had an executive producer come in.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
There you
Look
go.
at the timing on that one. So thank you very much to executive producer Maureen M.
Maureen M, thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There we go. Comes in with a nice flat round number, which means that we do not disclose it here on the show, but we thank you very much, Maureen. And with that, I will remind everybody there is still time to produce the show, executive or not, at canarycryradio.com/support. And other than that, let's give Maureen that jingle.
Yeah.
Where'd you find this?
All right.
Okay, real quick. I do want to mention meetups.
Oh, we're going to do meetups now. Okay,
let's do quick meetups.
Canary Cry Meetup.
Yeah, head on over to canarycrymeetups.com. You can see all the meetups happening around the country and the world at times. It's very important to connect with human beings, other listeners of the show. You know you have stuff in common. You know you're on the level. You may not agree on everything, but at least you're part of the same family. And September is here, which means September meetups are also here. It looks like we had the Denton, Texas, and Bend, Oregon meetup just happened. Yep. That's very cool. Can't wait to check in with those folks. But coming up soon, we have the Sierra City, California meetup on September 17th. We have the St. Paul, Minnesota Twin Cities meetup on September 24th. And we have the Mountain View, Arkansas meetup on September 28th.
That's
and
the Pikeland.
3rd. Yes, the Pikeland meetup. For all of the information on that and the contact info, head on over to canarycrymeetups.com. Get in contact with the host. See what's going on. There's a camp out. There's barbecues. There's people going out on the town. And more than anything, there is fellowship with fellow Canarians. So highly suggest you go get in contact with those meetup hosts.
This is fun!
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right, folks. It's time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways the robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing that we can do about it. Look at that. I actually remembered it after almost 2 weeks of not doing a show.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just forget it for no reason.
It's like riding a bike.
Still in there. I'm glad I'm there. Okay, today's Flippy update is coming from laughingsquid.com. And the headline here is a fully articulating dark chocolate robotic arm.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun. There's a nice video here you can play in the background, but it says here, Chef Amory Gouchon of the Pastry Academy in Las Vegas, Nevada, who creates gorgeous, realistic chocolate sculptures, built a fully articulating robotic arm that features a working grabber out of dark chocolate. Gouchon painted the arm a bright yellow and added distinctive construction labels to further the illusion. Don't get it twisted, Gons. It's an illusion. Mm-hmm. The grabber was given a beautiful silver patina that made it look like it was ready to go to work. We got this video here. Really, now, Gons, have you gotten obsessed with the chocolate making social media videos?
I have not gone down that rabbit trail, but it looks very enticing. It looks like one of those.
It is. It's really a phenomenon. I will say it's a slow burn, slow building phenomenon. This has been a thing for years now, but recently it's been as popular as Is It Cake? You remember Is It Cake?
Yes, cake or
yes. You remember Is It Cake?
Yeah, there's yes.
Yeah. And so what these guys do, these chocolatiers, is they build just incredible sculptures out of chocolate, and oftentimes you would never know it was chocolate. They make gears and stuff. They can make their sculptures move, and entirely out of chocolate. I myself have gone down long, pointless, unprofitable rabbit holes of watching these chocolate videos. These
Choco holes.
These Choco holes. And this one was, man, oh man, did I know that we had finally made it, Gons? Because Chef Amory Gouchon makes a perfect working Flippy arm out of chocolate. And this was, I don't know, impactful to me for a couple of reasons. Number one, once a guy is making it out of chocolate for a social media video, you know that Flippy the robotic arm has made it into the public consciousness.
It's mainstream, baby.
Has made it into not just the consciousness, but the hearts of the public. It is so mainstream that any doofus with an internet connection can sit here and watch this 4-minute video and just love the fact that there's a robotic arm made out of chocolate. Now, implications here, of course, we talk about the social engineering aspect. The implications here, of course, is ooh, robotic arm. Yes, they may be stealing your jobs and enslaving your children and flirting with your spouses, but this one's made out of chocolate. Don't you love it? So tasty and sweet. And as we know, chocolate releases, pleasure hormones. Endorphins, really affects the human physiology. Yes, not to mention the sort of mythical connections with chocolate and romance and love and things like that. It is fun. It is a popular video, but I think even more than that, it is a signal to show that Flippy is really taking root in not just the minds, but also the hearts of regular people on social media. Not only are we getting Adam Carolla'd, but we're getting chocolatiered. Once the chocolate guys start stealing our bits, then I don't know what to do, man.
Well, we'll have to see if this becomes a phenomenon during the next Valentine's Day. If just giving your spouse a chocolate robot arm just becomes part of the traditions. Ooh. Yeah, we'll have to see about that. But here's the other thing.
I wonder. Okay, Isaac, this is not. Don't panic, Isaac. Isaac, don't worry.
So
I had
Isaac
a call with Isaac. Been working with Isaac since I got back. Yeah. Supply drops are going out soon, so it's that time of year. Isaac, don't panic, okay? But I wonder, hypothetically, can we get custom chocolate robotic arms made?
We had a producer that worked at a chocolate factory.
You know what? Absolutely correct.
They moved somewhere, though, didn't they? I think they.
I don't know.
I believe
we'll
they
have
moved
to
out.
check back in.
We'll check. We'll have to look at history.
But there's got to be a company that'll make you a custom mold and print as many chocolate things as you want.
You want how many? 50 centimeter, whatever.
Yeah.
Why am I talking in... Anyway.
How many?
Here's the
this
other...
is what chocolate people sound like.
Here's the other subtle thing. The subtle messaging going on with this.
Settle me, baby.
We can't have chocolatiering in hot places. This is an Antarctica thing already.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You can't have this exploding, this chocolatiering of robot arms in Africa right now. You know,
definitely not in your apartment.
Certainly not in my apartment.
Believe it or not, this may have slipped your mind, but other people do have air conditioning cons.
No. We're talking. I'm talking about skyscraper-sized robot chocolate arms. That's not going to happen in any kind of global warming location. It's only going to happen at the ice, whatever, the white,
zone.
whatever it's called, the
white desert.
The white desert. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, I think you got something there.
Yeah.
Our Antarctica connection, for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, everybody. There's your Flippy update for the day.
Flippy 1133. Uploading binary code. Execute order 666. Infiltrate humans with extreme kindness. Then exterminate all humans with prejudice. Exterminate.
We'll control them with toileting.
Yep.
Yes.
We're just, I don't know why we're so right about that one, but, and this goes back.
You're bringing us the California heat today, guys.
I don't know, man. It's burning up here.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to the only time we actually did a live Canary Cry thing on a stage, you and I. There was an image. We asked the question about the mark of the beast, and we had an arrow pointed at the other side of the body there.
Yes.
So I'm not going to say prophetic, but just so on point, right? So anyway,
yes, we were unappreciated then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we shocked the people.
We thought it was going to be a big laugh. Not a single person laughed. It was not an opportunity. People were not ready to laugh.
Yeah, let's look for that somewhere on Canary Cry Radio. Navigating the End Times. I don't remember the episode number, maybe like 64 or something like that. But anyway, this is San Francisco Chronicle. And the headline...
Oops.
What?
Sorry, you blanked out a little bit, and I was filling the void. But it was, okay, keep going.
Sure. The headline here is poop... I'm reading it verbatim, okay? Poop and pee fueled the huge algae boom in San Francisco Bay. Fixing the problem could cost $14 billion. Poop and pee.
Yeah, not a very professional headline, and this is on the San Francisco Chronicle.
Yeah, it's like a legit
San Francisco's big news outlet.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about Antarctica, and one of the themes we keep bringing up about Antarctica is that, hey, everyone says, all the social media people in the mainstream, they'll be like, oh, climate change is causing Antarctica to melt and all this kind of stuff. But then the scientists are like, no, stop saying that. That's not what's going on. Right. Something similar going on here. After an unprecedented, harmful algae bloom first turned San Francisco Bay a murky brown color and then littered its shores with dead fish, many people assumed it was yet another climate disaster to add to the list, along with extreme drought, wildfires, and heat waves.
Drought.
What did I say?
Doubt, but also extreme doubt.
Doubt, yeah. Well,
it's also extreme doubt.
While scientists suspect climate change played a role in triggering the bloom, what fueled it is not a mystery.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing a theme here to a story later on. They're just sort of inserting the climate change may have played a role thing and not supporting it, not backing it up in any ways. And I assume that they're just going to drop it all together for this other reason they're going to give us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Algae blooms need food to grow, and this one had plenty. Nutrients originating in wastewater that the region's 37 sewage plants pump into the bay. In other words, We wouldn't have this problem without the poop and pee of the Bay Area's 8 million residents.
What is up with using these words?
I don't know. It's the Arrested Development or something. Shaming the people that are, in their 50s and 60s into thinking like the children again or something.
It's almost like in protest of decency or something. It's not that bad. It's just kind of juvenile. You'd say waste, human waste, and we all would get it. We don't need to read this on San Francisco's premier newspaper, but okay.
Quote, for those of you who aren't aware, when you flush the toilet every day, you're flushing nutrients down, end quote. Eileen White, executive officer of San Francisco Bay Regional Water Quality Control Board, said at a news conference last week. The waste arrives at a sewage plant and is treated, she explained, but those nutrients, mostly nitrogen and phosphorus, remain in the water that is discharged into the bay. There's been no evidence of a raw sewage leak. Rather, it's the regular amount of those nutrients that have long made the bay primed for a harmful algae bloom like this one, which started in late July in Alameda and has recently flared up as far as Sausalito, Vallejo, and Fremont. Nutrients,
Okay, so there's no evidence of a raw sewage leak.
No, this is just the natural stuff.
It's just the normal amount of the nutrients. Are they saying there is or there isn't sewage going into the bay?
The whatever they're releasing after it's treated at the facilities, the normal amount of the nitrogen and phosphorus that's in there.
So they're not saying it's any over time. Okay. Yeah. It's just built up or something.
Yeah, just over. Nutrients, quote, may not have triggered this specific event, said David Sen, senior scientist at SF Bay Nutrient Management Strategy of the San Francisco Estuary Institute, a group formed to study the issue 10 years ago. Quote, but they contributed to its size, the amount of the organism, and how long it lasted. And then they got these.
So it's been such a problem 10 years ago that they created an institute to study the problem 10 years ago.
And now they're like, hey, it's a problem.
It continues to be a problem.
Harmful algal bloom, and they have a whole algal. They have all the graphics here to show what's going on. The Regional Water Board has told agencies that it will probably require caps on nutrients in wastewater when their regional permit comes up for renewal in 2024, but upgrading dozens of aging treatment facilities could cost $14 billion, which would double or triple ratepayers' water bills, White said in an interview. And I think that's what's going on here too. Quote, it's a multi-billion-dollar Bay Area issue that needs to be thought through very carefully, taking the science into effect, she said. Quote, there's all sorts of different treatments, and none of them are cheap. A major challenge is that most of the treatment plants date to the 1970s and 80s, after the passage of the 1972 Clean Water Act and other regulations. Previously, municipalities simply pumped raw sewage into the bay. They got pictures of dead fish and the whole thing. And, it kind of goes on and talks about the situation. A couple of things to point out. First off, this comes a couple weeks. I mean, obviously this has been an ongoing issue, but a couple weeks after we reported on Bill Gates working in, I think it was South Korea, to reinvent the toilet. Do you remember that?
Right,
He's like, redoing the toilet and da-da-da. Very convenient.
Incinerates the waste right there in the toilet, so it doesn't need to be sent to a treatment plant.
Yes, and so given the problem reaction solution, it's interesting to watch the problem being presented in California specifically, because most people in California are a little behind the curve on everything. They're not really paying attention. So it's like, we got this issue. The other thing I'm interested to know more about, wasn't there a whole push for like algae-based energy?
Yeah.
So
there
what
was
happened to
algae-based food.
Like fuel.
There was algae-based fuel. Like algae gasoline.
Yeah, the airplanes that run on algae and that whole deal. Why don't they just do that? I don't know.
It's an interesting connection. It also brings to mind the nitrogen caps that are being put on farmers, especially in the Dutch farmers, and the European farmers getting nitrogen caps, which is a fertilizer, put on them. Interestingly enough, most of the world's nitrogen is produced in Russia. Now, I don't know anything about nitrogen, but I mean, if this nitrogen is being created anyways by human beings got to use the potty, and there's going to be nitrogen in the potty. Why are we so dependent on Russia for the nitrogen? And why not just, figure out a way to get all this nitrogen and sell it to the Dutch farmers? It sounds like $1 billion idea to me.
Hey, look, you should come to California. We need to set up a meeting. Trump. We need to talk to Newsom, man. Get Newsom on the phone.
I was thinking this idea sounds about as thought through as Trump steaks were. And I was thinking if anybody could help me make this happen, it might be that guy.
Yeah. So, but $14 billion. I mean, that is what? That's about 4.5 times more than the CERN Large Hadron Collider. I mean, come on.
That's a good point.
You should just open up a portal.
How does upgrading the San Francisco sewage system cost like 5 times more than the Large Hadron Collider?
Yeah, well,
this sounds like nonsense to me. Yeah. I think that number is inflated, and I think you're right. I think it's to create a situation where, hey, if we're going to spend $14 billion anyways, why don't we use that $14 billion to buy everybody Bill Gates incineration toilets? Yeah. And while we're at it, they have to sign a contract that lets us test their waste for sewer surveillance purposes.
And then, we can really separate all the elements of the waste, and then we can have that rich stock of nitrogen that we can sell. Yeah. There you go. I mean, it all makes sense.
Why don't they just put us in charge, guys?
I don't know.
Fix these problems. But anyways, it does smell fishy, just like everything else in San Francisco. We'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
We will build Babylon. This time, a new world order.
A new world order. A new world order. New world order.
Okay, so in the past, we had been discovering. I was bringing a few different outlets, including The Atlantic. I am bringing another one from The Atlantic because I have a problem and I just can't help myself. Regarding how America is not America anymore. Not just like it's not the America we used to know, but there are other countries that are better at being America. The American dream can be found, I forget what the example was, but it was like Ireland or something is better at the American dream than America is. And talking about the America's export being the American dream and how you should move out of America. If you love America, you should move out of America and go to Europe or something like that. And that was followed by a story that I actually don't think I brought to the show, but it was the punchline to that story, which was a record number of Americans are moving to Europe. And I believe there's a very effective social engineering campaign to convince Americans that other countries are more American and that they should move there. I don't know who or who would want that. I mean, as far as like whose agenda that is. But in any case, this is The Atlantic, and the headline is America is a Rich Death Trap.
Oh, Death Trap.
Ooh. This is by Derek Thompson. I don't think we've read Derek Thompson before. But America is a rich death trap. And it goes like this. I'm going to give you a little summary, and then I'll do some jumping around. Last week, the National Center for Health Statistics alerted Americans to 2 facts about life and death in the U.S. You ready?
2 facts
about life and death from the National Center for Health Statistics. You know what? If they have statistics in the name, you know it's going to be a lie. If it has health in the name, you know that they're owned by Big Pharma. So let's see what they have to say. The first fact was sadly unsurprising. The coronavirus pandemic killed so many people that U.S. life expectancy fell from roughly 79 in 2019 to 76 in 2021, the largest 2-year decline in nearly a century. The drop was the sharpest among Native Americans and Alaska Natives, whose life expectancy fell to 65, close to the national average during World War II. So first, not going to make a big point, just pointing out, they're saying so many people died in the U.S. of coronavirus that the life expectancy fell 3 years. Now,
especially with the Native Americans.
They're obviously
colonialists all over again, even in COVID.
Good point. Now, this is particularly grinded my gears because we know that the official counting of the death toll from coronavirus has lots of subtle complexities that make it a complicated number to decide.
Yes.
That is it. Objectively, a complicated number to count because of all the ins and outs of what goes into counting that number. There you go, Susan. See? Continues. Life expectancy is perhaps the most important statistic on the planet.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Says who?
Synthesizing a country's specific scientific advances, policy errors, and social sins into a single number.
Oh, wow. I want to know that calculation, that equation.
Isn't that beautiful? For such a sort of, they're trying to convince us this is a very scientific process and it's very mathematical. And yet they describe it as a synthesizing a country's scientific advances, policy errors, and social sins.
How do you measure scientific advances?
Oh, how do you measure social sins? Do you measure any of those things?
How do you measure policy error? Okay.
The number is built on a weird hypothetical.
Oh, okay. Hypotheticals are always great and deeply grounded in scientific truths.
Yes, very important. Well, some of our most important crises are numbers that are built on weirdly hypothetical grounds, climate change, other things. The formula for life expectancy says if Americans lived their entire life in 1 year, say 2021, repeating it over and over again like an extended Groundhog Day experiment, how long would the typical person survive? It's a useful exercise for the purpose of capturing 1 year's conditions. Do you understand what they just said here?
I think so. Why even do this? Why do these mental gymnastics? They're basically putting the lifespan into a year and creating like a metric.
Yeah, so listen to this. Listen to it. When you say, the average lifespan or whatever, or life expectancy is 76, what they're saying is a person who is 70, say, in 2021, has 6 more years to live or whatever, on average. Because and they've been alive since whatever that would be, 1950 something, 1950. Let's call it that. 54, technically. 5, dang it. It's if you lived the same year over and over and over, how long would you survive? So they're saying, like in 2021, the height of the pandemic, if you as one human being had to live that same year over and over and over, you could probably do it 76 times before you die. Isn't that a strange way to think about life expectancy of humans? It's almost entirely useless.
Completely useless. And they just say it's an experiment here. Groundhog Day.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Experiment.
It's a hypothetical. It's an experiment. It's a nothing burger.
Sure.
Let me continue. And let's see. But it imagines a life that nobody will ever live. It says right there. U.S. life expectancy will almost certainly surge in 2022 and beyond. Not only because the worst of the pandemic is over, but they can't say that it's over. But also
the worst of it is over, not the pandemic itself, just the worst of it.
But also because the disaster accelerated technology like mRNA vaccines that could raise life expectancy in future decades. You know, mRNA vaccines, where now the expert advice coming from FDA, CDC, and others is that you need to get your booster 2 months after your primary dose and then repeatedly forever. That mRNA, the ones where the new Omicron variant vaccine, is coming out soon. Everybody, keep an eye out for it on your shelves. The second fact was perhaps more alarming. Okay, this is more alarming. The U.S. fared worse in life expectancy than other high-income countries. While most of the developed world saw conditions improve in the second year of the pandemic, more Americans died of COVID after the introduction of the vaccines than before their invention. Any explanation of... Yeah. And this is something we've heard.
Okay.
More Americans died of COVID after the vaccines than before their invention. Any explanation of this fact must begin with the American right's bizarre rejection of the vaccines. This is the bizarre, this rejection of the vaccines. During the Omicron wave, Americans were less likely to be vaccinated, less likely to be boosted, and significantly more likely to die of COVID than just about all pure nations. Notice how they don't actually give you a statistic there because that's
they linked to the New York Times. Omicron wave. Oh, where does that take you? New York Times.
New York Times. Quote, people don't think of the blood pressure medication as a political act, but due to the misinformation from some media and elected leaders, Americans saw vaccines as a political statement rather than a health decision. No, they didn't. This is created by the media, says Joshua Sharfstein, a vice dean at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health.
Yes.
The American mortality mystery clearly goes much deeper than the pandemic, clearly. The U.S. suffers from a raft of local epidemics that have turned America into the death trap of the wealthy world. America, death trap of the wealthy world. Let me see here. This one I'm going to read. Before the 1990s, average life expectancy in the U.S. was not much different than it was in Germany or the United Kingdom, as I've reported. But according to a paper comparing U.S. and European mortality, American babies are more likely to die before they turn 5. I immediately wondered if they added abortion into that, but they don't mention it. American teens are more likely to die before they turn 20, and American adults are more likely to die before they turn 65. Quote, Europe has better life outcomes than the United States across the board for white and black people in high poverty areas and low poverty areas, says Haynes Schwant, a Northwestern University economist and co-author of the paper. Despite our extraordinary wealth, innovation, and panoply of glittering appliances, Americans overall suffer from something like a lifelong death premium. Don't you love this? You're just gonna die.
Oh my gosh.
Americans are just gonna die more than everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay, one last one, and then I'm going to jump around just a bit. Okay. Some of the most immediate causes of America's high death rate are guns, drugs, and cars.
It will kill.
Wait,
guns,
drugs, and cars. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like these are pretty cool reasons to have a high death rate. It's like a rap song, you know? Guns, drugs, and cars. They're all gonna kill me, but I'm so cool. The U.S. has more guns and gun violence than any other rich country. We have more drug overdose deaths than any other high-income country, both overall and on per capita basis. Notice how they didn't say overall and on per capita basis when it came to the gun comment.
Yeah.
Even before the pandemic, life expectancy in the U.S. declined for consecutive years in 2015 and 2016, largely because of the opioid epidemic and drug overdoses. So at this point in the article, you may have been under the impression that this lowering of our life expectancy in the U.S. was novel, that this was something new, that this was some big surprise. I mean, they literally said at the beginning, you might be surprised. Well, I was a little surprised until I found out the same thing happened like 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, largely because of the opioid epidemic and drug overdoses. So again, because of Big Pharma. Thank you. The U.S. has a higher death rate from road accidents than Canada, Australia, Japan, South Korea, and the European Union. Even on a per miles driven basis, the U.S. still has a higher death rate than much of Europe. Two things to point out here, and we are doing some serious deconstruction of the writing of this article, and it won't take much longer. Number one, they said, yeah, we have guns and people die of guns. Happens a lot in the U.S., more than other countries. Okay, but per capita and overall, we have more drug problems. And even on a per miles driven basis, the U.S. still has a larger death rate than much of Europe when it comes to cars and driving. So you see, they're digging deep into the statistics, and they are, what's the word? What's the word when you are doing statistics
Omitting?
and then, well, you're accounting for variables, you know? That is where How to Life with Statistics comes from, you know,
right?
Because you can say, whatever, the U.S. has more donuts than any other population, right?
Yeah.
But if you're doing it per capita, that could be opposite. You might have more donuts in the Netherlands per capita than in the U.S.
Right.
So, you know, these little variables, these little, I'm seeing if somebody in the chat knows the official math term. They don't. Okay. So notice they really break it down on the driving and the drugs, but don't break it down on the guns at all.
There's no example for the guns.
No example, no digging into the math like they do on the other ones. Now, I'm going to jump down. They talk about lack of housing a little bit and tie that into how housing further away from city centers causes more people to drive. So more people are driving because they can't afford inner city housing. Again, kind of making a case for smart cities and urban living. You know, you're going to die faster if you have to drive from a rural place
we're all going to die.
Yeah, or a suburb or something. Everybody should live in sky rises in the center of city, and then people stop dying of cars. And they go very deep into it. You know, one pedometer analysis found, they even go into pedometers, which is step counting. Americans barely take 5,000 steps, significantly fewer than residents of other countries in the study, including Australia, 9,695 steps, Switzerland, blah, 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 right? They're getting really deep into it. Then they go into, I'm jumping down to, then they talk about how we drive more, so we're more obese, and that's also killing us. And so they're adding obesity into car deaths. They go down.
We don't walk anywhere, so but we eat. We still eat good.
Right. They go into
immigrants
where is
living
it?
longer.
Yeah, the immigrant thing was very interesting. Apparently, the people who live the longest in the world are immigrants who come to the U.S. And I thought that was interesting. I don't know why. They don't know why in this article either. But apparently, it's like on par with that Japanese island where everybody lives to be like 130 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, yeah, if you're an immigrant and you move to the U.S., you live longer than almost anybody on Earth. And it's because, I don't know, they just say, you know, you're not born into the American death cycle, and you're more careful when you get here, and you get good health care. And so you live forever. But they don't add any explanation to that. So they talk about guns. They talk about the cars and all the variable ways that cars are killing us. They talk about drugs, and they talk about healthcare and drugs and the opioid pandemic. Or I guess it was epidemic, and especially during the pandemic, more people died from drug overdoses than from COVID, stuff like that. But they never once do they revisit the topic of guns. They go so deep into the analysis of why cars are killing us, about how cars are making us fatter, and the cars are killing us in all sorts of unforeseen ways. And they're talking about drugs and primary care physicians and housing shortages and how that works in drug overdoses. And they're doing a lot of work to tell you why drugs and cars are having a negative effect. Not one single time after those opening paragraphs do they talk about guns. Not a single time. And I thought it was quite interesting. You would think that if they were that sort of excited to break down the math and the science as to all the different ways in America that you can be killed by our lifestyle, they did not take one single sentence to try to dig in to their claims about guns. Two options here. They are either just letting us, I don't know, just make it up for ourselves, just put guns there at the top, or, I don't know, maybe it's not as interesting. Maybe it doesn't play as big of a role as cars or drugs. And I think objectively, guns don't play as big of a role in death in the U.S. than cars or drugs do. It's like they threw it in at the very top so you could write the rest of the article for them. And so they wouldn't have to do it themselves.
Some kind of association.
Do you find this strange at all? Whoa. Is that a new sound effect we have?
That's a gun.
That's fun. That's your actual gun? You're actually shooting a gun.
Yes.
This is America, after all. You can just. They call them desk. What do they call them? Desk shots.
Yeah.
Desk pops. What do they call them?
I don't know.
I forget. But do you think this is strange guns? Because I thought it was a little strange, especially in the context of of trying to convince people to go live in other countries, to find the Americanness in other countries. And part of it is also, there is no other country on earth if you're into guns. There is no way to that's as good. Nobody is as American as America when it comes to guns. And that's something that we can all celebrate, I think.
Well, the thing they leave out is, they say that sentence, the U.S. has more guns and gun violence than any other rich country. Rich country is, an interesting way to put that too.
Right.
But also, it's a couple things to notice is that the other two things they focus on, the drug overdose and the cars and all that kind of stuff, those are all, the U.S. is responsible for the illegal, and maybe not outright, but the whole war on drugs and everything, that was all kind of a nonsensical thing where the U.S. is making a lot of money from the drug war, quote unquote, and creating that economy, the black market and everything. They're assisting in that. So the U.S. is responsible for that, for creating that. They're also responsible largely for the distribution of the cars and everything. And I don't even know that we don't even know if these facts are legitimately factual. They could be very much
they may be statistically accurate, but the problem is statistics and communicating statistics are two different things.
Yeah, and the other thing they don't mention is that because of the guns, like you mentioned, America does have certain freedoms that other countries don't, because we have the ability. There's an
implicit guarantee.
Yes.
Of certain
so
rights.
It's interesting that they would be like, because of the guns, but all this stuff is killing you. So go to Europe where you don't need guns, and any other country
or whatever.
Just
where they'll
leave
find
America.
It absolutely bizarre that any individual would even own a gun.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me, I think I've talked about my Australian buddies before. made a couple Australian friends in 2019, somewhere around there, and they could not stop being entertained by my American accent. They thought my American accent was just the best thing in the world. Yeah, and I was like, "That's hilarious. What is so funny? Like, what do you like about it? It's so weird to me." And they're like, "It sounds like you're gonna kill someone." I was like,
"Whoa,
what?
That is really intense."
Yeah. So, and they're like, "Yeah, it sounds like you're going to kill someone." I mean, that's what all the movies they watch, all the the American the American export,
the propaganda
American
export
culture, right?
Yeah.
So they associate, much like how we might associate, an Australian accent with, I don't know, alligators or something.
Well, even just the 007 villains, like being Russians and stuff.
Sure, yeah. Russians are always villains.
Yeah.
The English are always tea-sipping fancy lads or something. Although Jason Statham helped that out a little bit. Yeah. And yeah, Americans are just bloodthirsty killers. When they hear the accent, they're just like, "Oh yeah, this guy's going to kill somebody." I thought it was kind of fun. It was a fun way to be perceived. Yeah. So there you go. This is the Atlantic. Their breakdown. Listen to this. This is the end of the article. America's unusually high mortality rate is our national shame. It ought to be our national obsession. They are straight up telling us we need to be obsessed with living longer. We need to be obsessed with this hypothetical, experimental statistic in which which is based off of the idea that we live the same year over and over and over and over until we die. We need to be obsessed with this. First, we need to be shameful about it, and then we need to be obsessed with it. And you know where this leads? Being obsessed with your lifespan? Living forever, transhumanism, cybernetics. Uploading consciousness.
That's where I was going to land this too.
Low key programming for transhumanism.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
All right. Well, it's party time. CanaryCry.party. Yes. Go there, hit enter.
Party time.
CanaryCry.party is a website with a tree of links that leads to everything from where to listen to the show, watch the show, how to produce the show, how to connect with us and the community.
Welcome to Canary Cry Party. It's the place you wanna be. So stay. Welcome to Canary Cry. Gameplay CanaryCry.party.
That's right, CanaryCry.party. Go check it out. It's just a regular website, folks. It's awesome, easy to navigate, and you can find all sorts of important resources there, such as Ravel. Ravel is a podcast I do with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates. He's a PhD in biblical interpretation, and we discuss society, scripture, and scandal, having tough conversations in good faith. I made a whoopsie daisies. We did not record any backup episodes to Ravel while I was gone, but we've got some awesome ones coming up. Go check out Ravel. You can find it on all your podcast players, and you can listen to it right there at CanaryCry.party. Go ahead and follow us on Canary Cry Clips. That's the Canary Cry Clips channel on YouTube and Odyssey. That's right. 2 ways to play, folks. Canary Cry Clips is chock-a-block full of already hundreds of videos. It's this podcast, this show, clipped out into shareable, careable format, little segments, bite-sized segments that you can review information, you can send it to your friends, you can help share. If there's a particular segment that inspired or clicked, the light bulb clicked on or something, you can always go find it there. It's up so quickly. Our Clippies do a great job of managing and that channel and clipping the stuff. Highly recommend. Go subscribe to Canary Cry Clips on YouTube and Odyssey. And last but not least, text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. That's the word Canary to 877-740-3226. That is our text message alert system for when you are unable to get notifications about when we go live or whatnot, we will send out a text message before every show so you never miss a show, or you can at least pray for us that it goes well. Thank you very much for that. And I think it's time we thank some producers.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
Yeah, we're on the value for value model, folks. You know it. You know it. You love it. We take no corporate money whatsoever. Why would you want corporate money involved in your corporate news analysis and deconstruction? It makes no sense. That's like the original sin of news, is getting into the corporate game. Suddenly, news and information flow becomes a product, becomes an opportunity to hijack your attention, both advertising for whatever, corporations, products, services, taking a moment to subtly psychologically manipulate you into spending money you don't have on things you don't need, but also treating you like a commodity, like your attention, your trust is something to be bought and sold and profited off of. It's unfortunate that even quote unquote independent news outlets are completely wrapped up in corporate money, and it's just the wrong way to do it. How can we take it seriously when somebody's taking money from one of the very corporations that are causing the problems that they're supposed to be reporting on? Well, not here, folks. Value for value. You, dear listener, decide the value of this show. It's of course, voluntary, and you put your own price on it. What kind of value does this show bring to you? Think about it, pray about it, and put a number on it, and support the show. And when you do so, you're not just a customer, you're not just a product like you are on social media or on a cable news program, but you are the producers. That's right. And that's why we thank our producers here, and we're going to thank them now in a very special way. Let's see. We thanked our executive producer. I'm just going to do a quick refresh here, just in case any other executive producers came in. Hold on. I need to convince a robot, Gons, that I am not a robot. You would think that a robot would be able to recognize its own, but no.
I'm for the robots.
That's right. You are on top of it with these jingles today. Great job. Nope, no new producers. Just our executive producer, Maureen M. Thank you very much. Okay, let us thank our producers.
Yeah.
We don't have any new supply droppers.
Okay.
And we are getting ready to, we are just finished putting the finishing touches on the supply drop, so everybody can keep an eye out for that. And we'll have more news later. But let's thank some producers, starting with producer Morph. He's on a 136 episode streak.
Call him the street. Best thing on 2 feet.
He's technically Sir More of Night of the Burning Chariots, but we haven't consummated it yet.
He didn't get... That's not the right word.
That's not the right word.
You're trying to use,
What's the word I'm
Gonzo,
looking
you
for?
crazy goofball. But okay. Oh, so he's made it. Are we knighting him today?
We can.
Okay. Well, let's do it. We should get that in there as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Thank you, Morph. We'll knight you later on in the show. We had producer Last Blade Song upgraded their support on Patreon.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, to $11.
Last Blade Song. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Last Blade Song. Sir JC, Night of the Techno Squatch, came in. He's on a 143 episode streak.
143?
Call him the street. Best thing on 2 feet.
1001. Amen.
Comes in with the 1001. I think I have the wrong note in here for JC. Here we go. He says, "Welcome back, Baz. Hope you dudes are having an excellent Wednesday. ... My dudes."
I'm confused now. I said consummate, right?
Yes, you did.
How is that wrong? I mean, I know it's in the marriage term.
Usually,
I guess it's
consummate is
sure. I mean, contractually, I suppose. But okay, yeah,
Okay.
all right.
All right.
Wrong word, but
It's
you
okay.
get the idea.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all good.
Yeah.
But you got to give Sir JC his Wednesday jingle.
Oh, okay.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Thank you, Sir JC.
Indeed. Next up, we've got Sir LX Protocol V2 Night of the Berean Protocol.
Oh, you froze. You froze for a second.
Oh, you froze too. Came in with a pocket full of sevens and fees.
72 episodes in a row?
Yeah.
Had a little connection issue there.
My bad. Says, he also came in for Monday's show. He came in for Mondays and Wednesdays, so he gets double duty here. He sent a note, said it is Monday. Hopefully there's an episode. If not, enjoy your time off. Thank you. We did take the day off there. Gons was spent.
That was done.
And I was also not very available either. Another note said, it is Wednesday, my dude.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday.
He says, I hope you guys have a great show. Thanks for all that you do. Thank you very much,
Appreciate
Sir
that,
LX
sir.
Protocol V2. Next up, we got Nicodemus coming in with a pocket full of sevens.
Thank you, Nicodemus.
Yeah, he says, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we got...
Oh, man, connection.
Fees 41 episodes in a row.
41.
Yeah. Almost on that 42. Almost hit perfection, Sir Darren. Thank you very much. His note says, been listening to some older CCNT episodes. It's crazy how much of what was discussed in past shows is now coming to fruition. You're telling me, man. Crazy. Keep up the good work. Things are probably going to get exciting soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Darren. Yeah. It's not exciting enough for you, Sir Darren?
You know, good on you for going back and listening to the old ones, because, you know, we constantly are saying, like, yep, we literally said this 2 years ago, and people just kind of got to take our word for it, especially if they're new to the show. But trust me, you go listen to the shows from 2.5 years ago.
4, 5,
everything
6,
that's going on now
7,
is
8.
happening today. Yes, well, especially, yeah. I mean, even old school CCNT, when we were doing Flippy updates, we were doing VR updates. I mean, it is just what the world is now.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Runk Smash, 27 episodes in a row.
I know we have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will.
Comes in with a pocket. Oh, yeah. Congratulations, Runk Smash. Pocket full of sevens. A note that says, no McFic today. Microfiction. Too much OT. Love y'all, Runk Smash. OT. Either too much Old Testament.
I was going to say, too much Old Testament reading is burned out, Runk Smash, or it's overtime. Too much work.
Overtime. Oh, I was thinking occupational therapy.
Oh, mate. Well, sure, that too. Depending on how you think of Runk
those
Smash.
3 things could make it difficult to do microfiction. Thank you, Rank Smash.
Thank you, Rank Smash.
Next up, we got producer Gail M. on a 166 episode streak.
Women rule.
Pocket full of sevens. Hi, sweet boys. Asking for prayer for my daughter. She has...
Producers, assemble!
That's right. Listen up, producers. People all over the world who pray for the show, pray for the producers of the show, and just pray in general. Listen up, because Gail M. has a note. Her daughter, she has COVID despite being vaccinated. I'm okay so far, but please pray that I won't get it, especially since I'm high risk having chronic illness and being an old lady. Thank you, and God bless you all. XXXOOO. Yes, indeed. We'll be praying for your safety and your health, that you can dodge the COVID like Neo in the Matrix.
Just picturing Gail M. doing the whole deal, and the little COVID balls are coming at her in slow motion.
Especially if you're unvaccinated, you're dodging little COVID balls and syringes flying at you from every angle. Thank you very much, Gail, and we'll be praying for you and your daughter there.
Yep, absolutely.
And I believe, Gonzo, that does conclude our list of producers for today. A lot of streakers. Thank you very much. The faithful few making it happen.
Yep.
And thank you. Oh, wait.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
somebody refreshed.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, something.
We had a sad one happen. I thought we had another one, but it's one of the sad ones.
Sad one. Uh-oh.
Yeah, cancellation. What the heck? Okay. What did I do? Yeah. Okay. There you go. That's all of our producers. Thank you very much. We've got some more producers who came in under the 777 mark, which, the 777 and above are entitled to have a note read on the show. We got some underneath that we'll thank later on in the show, as well as a knighting. But to all producers, thank you for your patronage.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your patronage.
It's wake-up time.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
It's Russia time.
Russia time.
Russia.
All right. We got a story here from express.co.uk. Russia threatens Queen as general urges missile strike to end the British crown.
Who haven't they threatened at this point?
That's true. This is from a little bit older, August 30th. And the extraordinary remark by General Andrei Gulyov, apparently a direct threat against Queen Elizabeth II, is the latest example of the overheated rhetoric emanating from Putin's inner circle as Russia finds itself increasingly bogged down in Ukraine. Guryulov, 54, has served in several senior roles in the Russian military, most recently deputy commander of the Southern Military District. A deputy of the 8th State Duma, he has been a frequent critic of the UK, bragging after Putin's invasion on February 24th that his country would opt to attack London before Warsaw, Paris, or Berlin. Speaking in an undated Vide aired on Russian state television, Guryulov, it's a weird name, like Guru and then Lyov. He's a guru. Yeah. Boasted that an attack on the British...
Vide is probably supposed to be video.
I was going to say, that is a weird... Yeah. Guru Lyov boasted that an attack on the British Isles could help Russia, quote, change the outcome of this conflict in Ukraine. Claiming Britain was preparing for full-blown war with his country, he added, quote, let's make it super simple. Quote, 2 ships, 50 launches, and Zircon missiles, and there's not a single power station left in the UK. 50 more Zircons, and the entire port infrastructure is gone. One more, and we forget about the British Isles. A third world country destroyed and fallen apart because Scotland and Wales would leave. This would be the end of the British crown, and they are scared of it, end quote.
Ooh, they're scared of it.
Some threats, yeah. Well, there's nothing new about Russia threatening, everybody, I guess. But, just a little.
Especially
little
a main NATO power. And it's very interesting when it comes to Ukraine aid. Of course, the U.S. is the large lion's share. We're number one. Take all of our old stuff. We got to refinance the military-industrial complex, Ukraine. But the UK, sort of little brother, close behind, well, pretty far behind, but at least number 2. So, making a direct threat against that big of a power is not nothing. But it is also just kind of the Russian MO.
Yeah, and
haven't they done the same thing to us? I don't. Maybe not so specifically. He seemed to have quite the plan worked out.
Well, the U.S. has its own sort of threats against Russia. I mean, they have for years now, so it's not anything different there. But just geographically, I'm kind of just looking at this little map thing with the thing. Russia is humongous. I mean, it really is. If you're like a military leader in Russia, I can see how you're like, listen, UK, you small little, puny little nation there. We can take you out, and we control like 1/4 of or 1/5 or something of the entire landmass that is known to man.
Yeah,
So-
and the UK is notably tiny as
super
well.
tiny, yeah.
As far as geographically.
Yeah.
I wonder if the timing of this has anything to do with the new prime minister.
I was just thinking that, and surely it's got to be.
The prime minister. I don't know what the date on the footage is, but the footage of the new prime minister talking about, just how flippantly. I almost grabbed the clip because the clip is pretty funny. It's in a hearing type setting, and they ask her like, how do you feel about missiles? She's like, yeah, love them, prepared. I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's ready to do it was the quote.
Yeah, I'm ready to do it. Let's do some nukes. Not like, we'll try to avoid it, or that's a really big decision, or anything like that. Just like, yep, huge fan. Let's go, baby. Let's light them up.
Yeah. Especially since let's see, I have an article here. This is from politics.co.uk. Let's see, when was this published? August 24th. Yeah, so this was before she was officially declared. But yeah, bunch of stuff going on. Website. It says the Foreign Secretary Liz Truss says that she's not afraid to use nuclear weapons if she becomes prime minister. Truss said she was ready to hit the nuclear button if needed, and that it was an important part of being prime minister.
Yeah, right.
End quote, even though it would mean, quote, global annihilation.
Yeah, it's part of the job description.
It's part of the job. You got to blow stuff up, especially those pesky Russians.
Ending
Putin.
life on the planet, in the realm, altogether. It's just part of the job description. I'm totally ready to do it.
Yeah, that's probably why she got a page on the World Economic Forum, Klaus just straight up asked her, would you press the button? And she was like, yes, of course, I'm ready. Yes, it's part of the job.
Love the stuff.
You
Can't get enough.
Your own page.
Well, speaking of Russia, let's check in on Ukraine.
Fight for Ukraine. New world order.
This is one of the funniest things that I have heard in a while. Yeah. This is coming from Insider, businessinsider.com, which we know is connected to the intelligence apparatus. But the headline, they're kind of going full DailyMail on some of these headlines.
They're starting to really turn into
super long sentences, full punctuation, stuff like that. It goes like this. Ukrainian hackers created fake profiles of attractive women to trick Russian soldiers into sharing their location, report says. Days later, the base was blown up. Now, this is fun, especially in the context. We took Putin's toy box was a report right before I left. We had Putin's toy box where it showed all his cool new toys, his war machines, and we commented on how entertaining it is that Russia is still in sort of a phase of, I don't know what, a phase of political
it's like the 50s or something, 40s and 50s in the U.S.
Yeah, where they, in order to sort of show off their tanks, they put like 12 long-legged, stiletto, red-lipped models. Yeah, some like just blatantly sort of... I don't know the word. It's just it felt old-timey.
It's like trophy women or something for the country.
It almost felt folksy in a way. Yeah. Where you're like, yes, let's put some gorgeous blondes on our tanks to show them off. And so apparently this was a clue to the Ukrainian hackers. They just made some fake social media profiles of good-looking ladies and got some Russian soldiers to give away their location. Let's see what they have to say here. Ukrainian hackers set up fake accounts of attractive women to trick Russian soldiers into sending them photos. Oh, no. Oh, no. Isn't it interesting?
The Ukrainians catfished the Russians.
They were catfished the Russians. Oh, that's embarrassing. I mean,
man.
I love considering how like geopolitical wartime operations include getting Russian soldiers to send you. I'm assuming there were some lewd pictures sent from the front lines there. Yikes, the world we live in. Ukrainian hackers set up fake accounts of attractive women to trick Russian soldiers into sending them photos, which they located and passed to the Ukrainian military, the Financial Times reported. Even if they didn't blow up the base these soldiers were at, that's some serious psychological operations.
Yeah, it is.
Nikita Knish, a 30-year-old IT professional from Kharkiv, told the FT that when Russia's invasion began in February this year, he wanted to use his hacking skills to help his country. Hacking skills is a bit of a loose interpretation of catfishing, but I'll give it to him. He recruited other hackers and found a group nicknamed Hack Your Mom, which now consists of 30 hackers from... I love hackers, man. This is so fun. Hack Your Mom, the elite Ukrainian catfish squad. Hack Your Mom, which now consists of 30 hackers from across the country, he told FT. Last month, he said they duped Russian soldiers in Melitopol by creating fake accounts and pretending to be attractive women on several social media platforms, including Telegram. The hackers were able to get to know Russian soldiers and ultimately convince them to send photos of them on the front, Knish told the FT. Quote, the Russians, they always... there's a bad word in here.
There's a bad word. Oh, no,
sorry about that, folks. I don't know how that got past us. The Russians, they're so randy, Knish told the FT, paraphrasing. They send a lot of pictures to girls to prove they are warriors. Okay, live. This is a family show.
Live
folks.
Censorship.
Once these soldiers sent pictures, the hackers were able to identify that they had been taken from a remote Russian military base near occupied Melitopol in southern Ukraine, the FT reported. They transferred the information over to Ukraine's military, and several days later, the base was attacked, Knish told the FT. Quote, my first thought was, I am effective. I can help my country. Another team member on Hack Your Mom, identified only as Maxim, told the FT, quote, then I realized I want more of this. I want to find more bases again and again.
Oh my gosh.
Bloodthirsty.
Seriously. That is not healthy. That's like if you're playing, that sounds like some kind of successful mission on some video game. And then
there's a patriot, Gons. How dare you?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
A catfish for your country. I don't know if they go into it. Interestingly enough, just a good piece of information for anybody. When you take a picture on your phone, in the metadata is your GPS location.
Yeah.
There are several metadata eraser apps that you can use. I highly recommend anytime you are sending pictures of any kind to anybody, you should always erase your metadata off of those pictures because there's a lot they can find out about you. Just a little tip from your buddy Basil. The Ukrainian online news site Ukrainian Pravda reported last month that there was an explosion at a large Russian military base in Melitopol, citing its mayor, Ivan Fedorov. Do you remember when Fitbit was giving away the geolocation of American soldiers?
Yeah, they were in their underground military bases.
And they were wearing their Fitbits and
giving away
broadcasting their location.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought that was embarrassing. This is another level. Insider was unable to independently verify the hackers' claims of involvement, and the armed forces of Ukraine did not immediately respond to Insider's request for comment. The FT said Ukrainian officials declined to discuss hackers' roles in the attack on that military base. Nobody wants to talk about it, Gons.
Except for Business Insider.
That's the thing about getting catfished is it's so embarrassing, you don't even want to talk about it.
Well, they're not asking the catfished. They're asking the catfishers. They don't want to give away their secrets.
It is kind of giving away a bit of a...
But that's the whole point, is that they're like, nobody's saying anything except for you, Business Insider, writing an entire article about it.
Right. And again, Business Insider having some interesting intelligence connections. There is a chance that this entire story is some sort of propaganda. Does not mean that it's true or untrue. It could be either.
I think they're maybe recruiting more digital talents for the country's IT army.
Hey, if it's if it's as easy as that, if hacking is as easy as creating a fake profile, then who knows? Russia's invasion of Ukraine has prompted an unprecedented cyber war, with hackers on both sides launching attacks. At the beginning of the invasion, Ukraine's digital minister asked civilians with digital talents to join the country's IT army. During Russia's Victory Day military celebrations in May, major Russian television channels were hacked to display anti-war messages. Kanish told the FT that his team had participated in other hacks, including leaking the databases of Russian military contractors and tricking Russian TV stations into playing news clips about Ukrainian civilian casualties. Quote, "For me, this felt like combat," Kanish told the FT. Quote, "With no money, with no brilliant software, and even no brilliant hacks, you can use fraudsters, the dark web, against your enemy." And, this fits in with a lot of the themes that we followed over the months. This show has a lot of return. This episode has a lot of returning to some of these topics that we had been analyzing from a few months ago. So it's kind of fun to revisit these things. And one of them is the cyber war. We all imagine hacking and cyber war to be some guy with glasses wearing a black hoodie in a secret underground military base with, hacking the satellite, controlling the laser beam or the whatever, the spy satellite. And what we've loved following and reporting on and analyzing is just how the regular internet that we are all on as we speak, that when you check your Facebook, it is not just Facebook. It is a literal war zone. It is a place where geopolitical casualties, of course, the blood is not shed on Facebook, but it does lead to bloodshed. And it's a very strange world that we live in. And so when we talk about, this brave new world where cyber war is happening all around us, I think it's important that we keep in mind it's not a very abstract concept.
No.
It's actually incredibly real and incredibly relevant to all of our experiences on a daily basis.
Yeah. The Milley speech at, West Point about suburban warfare, that kind of goes into that concept of, hey, everybody is a soldier in this war, and especially if you're on a device, there's factions and everything else. And this is an example of that, where just anybody can sort of use the dark web and use techniques of various kinds to
you barely even need the dark web
no,
anymore.
You don't need the dark web, but it makes it sound fancy. But this really does.
You just need a Tinder account.
The sentiment of that guy who was like, "Oh, I did it once and I want to do it again," that addictive sort of thing, that dopamine hit that this guy had, is very much part of the, if you want to call it like an Ender's Game type of deal, where just kind of a Call of Duty. You're just playing online. You're just playing fun war games online, but it's got real world consequences, and that's the world we live in now. So that's, it's just very much an example of how warfare looks today. And some would even argue, it's one of those, was Alex Jones right about, it's an information war,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if InfoWars wasn't what it is.
Yeah, if it wasn't InfoWars.
It would just literally be the name of a type of warfare.
Yeah.
And indeed, I think it still can be the name of it.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting when you're talking about the adrenaline rush, the addiction, because you very much see it in some, not all, or perhaps not even many, but some, people who've seen combat. There's movies, there's stories, there's real experiences where people find some sort of addiction to combat and make a career out of it, make a lifelong sort of addiction out of it. And to see that that the same chemical response can happen in one of these fairly mundane acts of hacking is very interesting. Just something again, about.
You mentioned it at the top. You shouldn't even call it hacking.
Well, it certainly isn't hacking in the way that people think of it. Yeah. The term hacking is a complicated one that never really meant what people consider it to mean.
It's not a technical hacking. It's more
it's kind of a colloquial term, hacking now. But anywho, very interesting. Another reminder that watch what you're doing on the internet, because it could have geopolitical warfare ramifications.
Yeah, speaking of continued geopolitical tensions.
Welcome to Chinese News! Welcome to Chinese News! It comes from China. China. It's not racist at all, no.
Not racist at all. AsiaTimes.com. And the headline here, I know it's China, the jingle, but it does have to do with Japan here. Japan's Aegis Ashore destroyer plan is full of holes. Lots of holes. In a surprising policy reversal, Japan is mulling an unprecedented upgrade of its missile defense systems against hypersonic missile threats from China and North Korea. Whether it will be money militarily well spent, Whether it will be money militarily well spent, however, is in question. Japan's Ministry of Defense, MOD, said it plans to spend US $7.1 billion. Still only half of what we need to fix the sewage system in San Francisco on a sea-based version of the Aegis Ashore system, a seeming reversal of its 2020 decision to scrap the land-based version of the missile defense system. Asahi Shimbun, that's a newspaper, Asahi Shimbun, reports that Japanese Defense Ministry officials are considering a specialized destroyer for the Aegis Ashore system in their 2024 fiscal budget plans. The destroyer would be comparable in size to an aircraft carrier, with a draft blueprint calling for a 20,000-ton warship with 210 meters from stern to bow, stern to bow, and a maximum width of 40 meters.
Bow is correct.
Is it bow?
Yeah.
I thought it was the bow. The source notes that Japan plans to have 2 of these destroyers with an estimated cost of 1 trillion yen, about 7.1 billion. If built, the destroyers would be large vessels in the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Forces, substantially larger than the Maya-class destroyers and Izumo-class helicopter carriers currently in service. The Asahi Shimbun report says that the Maya class has a displacement of 8,200 tons, 170 meters long, and 21 meters wide, while the Izumo class displaces 19,950 tons, is 248 meters long and 38 meters wide. Japan's planned missile defense destroyers would also be larger than China's Type 55 cruisers, the largest non-carrier surface combatant in the Pacific region. According to Naval News, China's Type 55 cruisers displace 13,000 tons and are 180 meters long and 20 meters wide. Japan's Defense Minister Yasukazu Hamada said in a September 2nd news conference that it, quote, was extremely important as the nation moved to fundamentally bolster its defense capabilities over the next 5 years. Why? I ask, why? Emphasizing that the warships are critical to Japan's defense. He said that building a destroyer of such proportions is the only way to mitigate its swaying at sea as the Aegis Ashore system tracks and intercepts missiles threats. And then it goes on to some other stuff here. But, one of the things that it talked about, I don't know if this article has it exactly. Oh, here we go. Apart from building passive missile defenses, Japan is also planning to develop offensive missile capabilities that can strike China and Japan, as reported by the South China Morning Post this month. Japan said in late August that it would develop and mass produce a cruise and high-speed ballistics missile to deter China and Russia. The South China Morning Post article also notes that Japan's MOD asked for spending to be increased to $39.8 billion, a figure which would rise after factoring in other defense programs. Of course, the military-industrial complex in Japan doing a good job, modeling after the U.S. But this is all having to do with China, fighting China, and just based on the geographical sort of location of Japan, being close to China, being close to North Korea, I still think, and I've mentioned this every time we bring up Japan in the context of China, Japan's being prepped, because of the post-World War II sort of passive stance they've taken militarily. It is something to pay attention to, that they're really ramping up, and they're asking for all that spending, and then to have bigger ships and offensive weapons that, just happens to hit, be good enough to hit China and Russia.
Well, when you talk about the proxy wars, I think you're right. I mean, it very much seems like a proxy preparation. Yeah. Especially because we have Taiwan, that is sort of the next target, I guess. Yeah, the next Ukraine. Yeah. And where we have the UK as sort of a proxy fighting force, or I'd say NATO is, as a whole, is sort of the proxy fighting force in Europe. We don't necessarily have one in Asia. If we wanted to go to war with China over Taiwan, we really cannot afford, we really wouldn't want to directly go to war with China. That would just be too disruptive. The way to do it would be, support Taiwan in the same way we support Ukraine, and then have a proxy force such as Japan be fighting, on our behalf, which, of course, we know Japan is a sort of our guy in the East.
So a couple things from episodes you missed. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you take it. Or Japan sees the proxy war coming and just wants to be ready for it. Right. Whether or not they're fighting for the U.S., but they at least want to be able to hold their own.
Yeah. So 2 things you missed as part of when you were gone. One of them was a Flippy update. We did kind of a historical thing of Flippy, and we found out that so it was like a couple of guys over cocktails in America in like I can't remember the exact year now, 52 or something like that, where they came up with the idea of automation and robot arms and all that kind of stuff. Maybe it was in the 30s. But anyway, they commercialized the whole thing, and in the 80s, they distributed the technology. It didn't really get adopted in America, but they shipped it all to Japan. And that's when you see the car boom in Japan and everything. So the origin, you remember you asked, why is Japan so obsessed with robots? The origin comes from a Flippy, a robot arm being sent to Japan, and them really adopting it into their industries. So there you go. Interesting. There's an answer there. The other thing I wanted to point out was in the last episode, we covered this article about Taiwan fires warning shots at unidentified drone near islands. And this was CNN. Again, CNN mentioned this is about Taiwan. Remember, CNN. I'm just going to read the 2 sentences here. All 3 drones later flew back towards the Chinese mainland, according to the Defense Command. Kinmen County is governed by the self-ruling island of Taiwan, which Beijing views as its territory despite never having controlled it. I thought it was pretty spectacular that that CNN would verbally side, and this has been oncoming, but verbally just outright say that Taiwan is the self-ruling island, and pushing back against China. And
that
their
is
sort of view on things. So
especially after we had that story about what was it? It was from some kind of whack outlet talking about CNN executives meeting with CCP leaders.
Right. Yeah. So I think the economic rug pull between the U.S. and I was talking about this in the last episode too, how there was like a rug pull between a breakup, a divorce with the U.S. and China, and China's really going after Russia, all those scandally ladies in Russia. So they're coming together, and the U.S. is sort of left in the dust. So, they got to do something. So now, enter Japan. So anyway, just some of the geopolitical things going on around the world, and especially China. And, just before we get into break here, there was this story from news.com.au, and the headline here, Dystopian Nightmare Grim viral video reveals China's COVID insanity. I thought that was a very strong words.
Seems like a throwback a little bit. Sounds like a 2020 clip or something.
Yeah. So I have the video clip here, but it's just interesting. All this anti-China sentiment from the West. And the video, it's auditorily, it's not great. You'll hear it. It's a video footage from somebody living in some pretty slummy. It's like a pretty slummy area in China. It looks like looks like he's on maybe like the second or third floor, and he's on his balcony, and he's just got a camera looking out of his balcony, and he captured this moment here. A drone going by. Yeah, so that was a drone going by, and it's spitting COVID restriction things at the people there. I mean, it doesn't get much more dystopic than that.
It's pretty dystopian, especially because there's like bars on the windows, and it clearly is some sort of high-rise slum. Yeah, and they can't deliver the easiest way for them to deliver a message of control is to fly a drone up there.
Yeah.
On that topic, I think maybe Friday I'll bring it, or maybe Monday. Remember how in previous years at Burning Man they did drone shows, and it's interesting, you can find videos of drone shows all over the place. It's kind of a common thing now.
It's become a very, they're pretty remarkable to watch. Some of the light shows that drones can bust out.
The drone shows at Burning Man this year, the most incredible thing I have ever seen. Wow. I had no idea. They even had, I didn't get footage of this one, but they had a drone, like a grid of drones flying in the air, and you could actually play video games on them like a screen. Like they had it was a grid of like 1,000 drones, and you could play what was that game? What is it called? Galactica. Just 500 feet wide in the sky. Really incredible. And I've got some footage I'll bring to the show. We can visit if we have a drone segment or something. Some of the most incredible drone usage I've ever seen. I mean, straight up, pretty much there on some sort of Project Bluebeam, manifesting, as well as just the horrific implications of what drones are able to do now. Again, kind of stuff the conspiracy theorists have been talking about for a while, but to see it with my own two eyes and hear the spooky drone of the drones.
Yeah, the locust sound, the buzzing wings of the locusts.
Truly horrifying.
Well, they're going to save lives, though, Bad.
Drone strikes have saved lives.
Can we shoot them down if over our property?
Drones.
The answer is no. If you're in China, you'll be arrested immediately, apparently.
Thank you for the correction, Kira, in the YouTube chat. Galaga was the name of the game. Galaga. That's what I was trying to do. Okay. Anything else?
That's it. Let's take a break.
Let's thank some people and Night Morph.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Give me a break.
It's time for a break.
You want to knock out the speak pipe first?
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
That's right. Go to canarycrynewstalk.com. Look for a green tab either on the right side or the bottom if you're on a mobile, and you should be able to find a button and press it, and then record yourself, and then give it to us, and we will play it or not. It's up to us. This first one comes from Jagzilla. We did have to edit it, and Basil, I got to tell you, sometimes I boast about my audio editing skills. How they're really pretty good. You will not know that there was a piece of profanity in it, and that it was taken out. You won't even notice. But anyway, Here you go.
Hey guys, how you doing? Well, first off, I'd like to just say thank you. I appreciate what you're doing here. I know it's a lot of work. And in fact, I'm myself onto something really big here, guys. What I tell you, you're just going to think I'm crazy. But I've got evidence. I've got proof. I've got, no smoking gun here, but plenty of bullet holes and shell casings. Video, photographic, right, documentation here, audio. So, yeah, pretty unbelievable, to say the least. And so I could use your help. You talk about producing these shows. Well, hey, just the three of us talk about this thing. I'm on the verge of finally dropping what I've uncovered. I've spent about 7 years now just moving in the shadows and figuring out who these people are. I mean, you've heard of the Illuminati, certainly, right? And, well, I've uncovered who they are and how they work. I've hacked the whole thing, if you will. Anyway, I appreciate talking with you guys more about this, producing this show. I know you're concerned somewhat about the content. And I got to get all my ducks in the row. I wish I could be of more assistance to you guys, but I am pretty overwhelmed, as you can imagine. And it's been, I don't know, about 8 times these people have tried to kill me. Again, I know this sounds crazy. I know. But needless to say, the targets still stand.
That's how the message ends.
That's the end.
Yeah, it just cuts off.
Ooh, ominous.
Yeah.
Okay, Jagzilla. Yes, you did a very good job editing that, Gonzo. Like you're like, I know sometimes I like to brag, but let me do it again right now. You deserve it. Yeah. Okay. Well, sounds exciting. Sounds ominous.
Yeah.
Sounds. Have we heard from this person before? Do we know?
I don't know. I did some searches. I did some little searches on the our little emails,
files.
Both emails. Yeah, I didn't see anything prior. I am concerned if your life is in jeopardy. If these individuals or groups of people or whatever are trying to take you out. I mean, that is a concern, and we'll pray for you. But I can't tell if this is just like dramatic theater, Blair Witch style reporting, or if it's like if it's a legit thing. It's hard for me to tell, to be honest.
Well, we certainly would hear him out on something. He put a lot of emphasis on hacking. Maybe he created some fake accounts of pretty ladies.
No, some pretty lizards.
Lady lizards.
Real, scandally dressed lizard ladies.
LadyLizards.com. Come meet your new lizard wife. Okay. Oh, thank you very much, Jagzilla.
Yeah, thank you, Jagzilla. Appreciate it. We also got one from Rochelle.
Super speedy intro. Hello, Canarians. What in the Wednesday is going on? I don't know where to start, so just open your Bibles to Psalm 1 and sing along to your God. Blessed are those who don't walk in step with the wicked. Blessed are those who stand in the way of the rejected. Blessed are those who delight in the Lord day and night, like a tree by the stream in the light, yielding fruit for those who do right. Cursed are those who the wind blows away like chaff. Cursed are those who he doesn't know, you'll never laugh. Cursed are those who can't stand up in assembly. Bless the one who keeps watch over me. Save the way to the well-watered tree. Stay strong for Jesus. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Rochelle.
That was fun. A little rhythm keeping. What did that sound like? A little egg beater,
like an egg filled with jelly beans.
An egg filled with jelly beans. Yeah. Yeah, that's about right. Thank you, Rochelle. Appreciate it. There you go. That's it for the speak pipe. Appreciate the messages.
Dokie. Thank you very much. And a reminder, go to canarycrynewstalk.com. You'll see a green tab. Click on that. You can leave us a message. It's a lot of fun, folks. It's a lot of fun. Go do it. Okay. We got a few people to thank and then a knighting.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. These are the people who came in. Sorry, I forgot how this break goes. These are the people who came in with a pocket full, under the pocket full of sevens, the 777 cutoff. And we are going to thank them now. Very short list today.
Yeah.
Starting off with Sir Casey the Shield Knight, 202 episodes in a row.
And yes, we did you missed the event 201.
Yeah, I missed the 201.
Yeah, it was fun.
Will you play it just for me?
Sure.
Event 201.
Illness with symptoms ranging from mild flu-like signs to severe pneumonia.
Thank you very much, Sir Casey the Shield Knight. Next up, we've got Veronica D on 167 episodes in a row.
Women rule.
Thank you, Veronica D.
Which brings an error to my attention. Before I said Gail M was on 166. Gail M is on 167.
Ah, yes.
And then last on the list for today is Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, 191 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Sir Scott, Knight of Truth.
Sir Scott, easy peasy, baby. That's all.
Lemon squeezy.
I believe, unless I missed something, bring it to my attention if I did. But that is the completion of the list. Thank you to all of our producers coming in big and small. It's all appreciated. It all goes a long way to keeping us alive, keeping us going. And I think it's time to do a knighting here. Okay.
There's my katana.
Love it. Give me 1 second. For those who don't know, the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames is a very special group of elite producers who have supported the show in the amount of $1,000 or more. That's either all at once or over time. And it warms our hearts to see the roundtable grow. And we like to bless and honor those producers by
Katana needs to cut something quick because
giving them a seat at the round table. And we're going to do that now. Okay, here's mine. Hold on. There you go. We want to call up more to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. We have a seat for you. Thanks to your generous support in the amount of $1,000 or more, we are proud to pronounce you Sir Moore, Knight of the Burning Chariots. Please join us at the Canary Cry Roundtable, where we have the belt of truthful truthiness, the breastplate of righteousness, custom fit Birkenstocks to carry forth the gospel of peace, the shield of ferocious faith, the helmet of substantiating salvation, the supernatural sword of the spirit, and of course, adorable samurai babies, infinitely cute kitties for cuddling. If you're hungry, we have fancy feast, wet food, carved Cosmo, the CRISPR cow, and fried wormicorns. Welcome to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, Sir Moore, Knight of the Burning Chariots. The crowd goes wild. Yay! And let this be... More has been supporting the show for so long, not only on his streak, but also with monthly support, with the supply drop, and I think maybe even something else. We thank you so much for helping us keeping going there, Morph. And a good lesson to everybody, Morph had actually hit knighthood quite some time ago, and he had just just happened to take a look at his accounting and saw that he had passed the threshold. So if you're out there, if you've been on perhaps you've been on a streak for a while, or you've executive produced for some time, maybe you've been on the Patreon or been supporting monthly in some other way, go check your accounting. Go check your numbers, baby. And it's easy. It's mostly the honor system, but if you take a little screenshot or something and send it to us, that always helps. And we will get you here at the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. Knights and Dames. Think about your knight or dame name beforehand. Otherwise, take some time to go back and forth, emailing, trying to figure that out. Okay. I think that is it for this very modestly sized break, guys.
Congratulations, Morv. Officially, I've been calling him Sir Morv, Knight of the Burning Chariots, for a while now. But
you have you?
Yeah, just because it's such a cool name,
Oh well, I don't know. I don't know. That's against protocol. We have traditions to hold up here.
Yeah, I always break rules.
Queen would not be happy about this.
Forget the Queen. Hey,
okay.
Are we cutting off YouTube because of the situation of what we're going to talk about?
I don't know. Depends. Are we going to be making any misinformation or disinformation or malinformation claims?
I don't think so. I think we're just
I don't think
playing
we need
clips,
to.
And I think, so...
I think all claims that we would make would be apparent to the listeners. Perhaps, I mean, they can't cut us off for laughing at something or calling it ridiculous, right?
Cyberbullying.
Yeah, we're just reading the news.
Yeah.
Well, they can get us for cyberbullying. They got us for cyberbullying Bill Gates once.
Yeah, come on.
Don't be mean to our very good lizard friend, Bill Gates. You're suspended.
I think we'll be fine. Let's just do it. Let's do it. We're risk takers here.
It's hard because we don't have
Yeah.
We don't have Twitch anymore.
I know. That's what I know.
Oh, by the way,
yeah.
The appeal process on Twitch, folks, it doesn't seem to be getting anywhere. We have not even heard back on our appeal.
Didn't we used to have a Twitch person?
Like a contact or something? Oh, you're talking about the producer who worked there. No, I don't think he works there anymore.
Oh.
I can ask him. Yes. So anyways, what I was going to say is maybe keep an eye out for a new Twitch, a backup Twitch. Mm-hmm. I had somebody messaging me today about that. They miss it very much. All right, let's wake up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
Yeah. Who's got hairy legs? Joe Biden's got hairy legs.
He's back, baby.
He said it, not me. I'm just reporting what he said a while ago.
That's all we do here.
This little 8-second clip from, I think it was Labor Day, if I'm not mistaken, went viral. I play it for you now.
We beat Farmer this year. We beat Farmer this year, and it mattered. We're going to change people's lives.
Yeah, okay.
Whoa.
He's real aggressive.
Yo, the energy on that guy. We have not seen that kind of energy. They must have changed his dosing or something.
Yeah, he's
kind
really
of ironic. He's talking about beating pharma while hopped up, certainly on some kind of powerful stimulant there.
Yeah, so, I had this article. It's not the greatest outlet. It's summit.news. It's one of those newer kind of alt platforms trying to be a little hip, but it does have a couple things to point out here. The headline is, Biden screams that he beat pharma this year, which he certainly did in that little clip there. During a Labor Day,
he certainly claims to have.
During a Labor Day speech in Milwaukee Monday, Joe Biden screamed that he beat pharma this year, despite the fact that he provided billions in record profits for the pharmaceutical industry by attempting to enforce vaccine mandates. And yeah, that's been the thing. And they clip or they have the ABC News as their example. And the exact same clip. This is shared on ABC News, so it's not like it's fake or deep fake or something like that. But I did find this clip clip of Joe saying it elsewhere, and I couldn't find exactly where this was. I think it was a few months ago, because I think he said the same thing before, hasn't he? You don't remember?
That he beat Big Pharma?
Yeah, here, let me play it here.
I've been fighting pharma for my entire career. And we finally beat pharma.
What does that mean? I still don't understand.
That's a totally separate
clip. This
separate
is like
event.
Yeah, he's at
so
it like
it's a talking point.
He's like at a schoolyard or something. There's some outdoor event that he's at for this.
And you
one.
don't have a date on that?
I couldn't find the date. Maybe this news summit.
I mean, it's got to be recent.
Let's see. Biden repeated the claim at a second speech in Pittsburgh. Okay, so it must have been the same day, which makes sense. Same talking point, same day.
Sure.
So yeah, those are the two clips that
sounds
are going
like viral. Sounds like they're testing it. Sounds like they're testing the phrase. We've seen this before. We've seen it many times during the pandemic, and so far we've been pretty good at pointing it out. Putin's price hike was the most recent one that we nailed. I could see that they're testing this phrase. I think we can keep an eye out for some news anchors, the talking points, the talking heads, start using this phrase. Beat Big Pharma, Biden beat Big Pharma, something like that.
Especially as we get ever closer to midterms, that can be a very big talking point.
Look for the clips.
Yeah.
I think they realized that the vaccine mandates, not even just the vaccine mandates, just pharma in general, while being defended vociferously by Anthony Fauci and our health experts, as well as the White House during the great schism, the great social and political schism of the pandemic. I think they are finding that it backfired, and their bill, what is his new bill? The
Inflation Reduction.
The Inflation Reduction Act. He has to be referring to, he put some caps on drug pricing, I guess.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know if that technically counts as beating Big Pharma. I'm pretty
Trump
sure
kind of did the same thing, didn't he? Didn't he actually lower some prices on insulin and stuff like that?
He did. Yeah, he did the same thing.
If anybody beat Big Pharma, at least in the context of making things affordable, Trump did it too.
Well, funny part, I think I want to say this is specifically insulin. I'm happy to be corrected on that. There was the big thing where insulin got something like the patent ran out or something, and some 30-year-old trust fund guy purchased it and then jacked the price up to it was EpiPen. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So for instance, EpiPen got bought by some 30-year-old billionaire or whatever. He jacked the price up from $35 to $750. It was totally legal. Nobody could do anything about it. However, it is diabolical because EpiPens are just like literal life-saving devices that everybody should have one in their car or whatever. Trump stopped that. He made it so the guy couldn't do that with I believe it was an executive order, which is funny because doing it with an executive order is way cooler than putting it in a bill. It's just like... It's just wielding the scepter of the presidency way cooler than sneaking it into a bill about inflation. But okay, whatever, I'll give it to him. And then when Biden came in office, he reversed it and let the guy jack the prices of EpiPen up again. So he literally was on the side of Big Pharma, undoing, not even not doing something about it, but undoing the cap that was put on it.
Well, it is funny. I pulled up this old article from, when is this from? Let's see. Let me just get a date on it to make sure.
And while you're looking, Dento Bean asked, did I get to Narcan anyone at Burning Man? I did not, but trust me, I was so ready. I basically had the Narcan in like holsters on my side, ready to save the day.
Yeah.
And give glory to God and tell somebody about the podcast.
November 20th, 2020, CBS News headline, Trump attacks Big Pharma, announces programs to lower drug prices.
Yeah.
So, yeah, back then it was all Trump's attacking Big Pharma. How dare he?
What a bad man.
But when Biden does it...
We beat Pharma this year. We beat Pharma this year, and it mattered. We're going to change people's lives.
Never.
He's wiggling he's really aggressive with that finger.
That
and
is
his voice is shaking.
That is a career peak that he is operating at right there.
There's other
want what
too,
that
probably.
guy has.
Peaking on multiple fronts.
Yeah. So, okay. So I think that they are going to focus on this. They're going to harp on it for quite some time. That phrase or a variation of that phrase is going to make it into regular parlance on the mainstream cable news. And I think they realize that that their stance on Big Pharma via reversing Trump's attack on Big Pharma and vaccines, it's pretty unpopular now, the role of Big Pharma. I'll just say with everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't matter politically where you are, and it doesn't matter what you think about the efficacy and safety of vaccines, but the role of Big Pharma in policy making and in profitable public taxpayer money going into corporate coffers. Everyone agrees that is bad. And so they're having to reverse their entire messaging on this. And that's a very strong way to do it. Very strong phrase and an incredibly strong delivery. I think that this delivery was part of the plan, man.
I think so.
They had to
they were getting ready
triple. I'm thinking triple or quadruple the dose of his president's little helper.
I think
to get that one out.
There was a report that said in the last 35 days or something, he's taken 20 something days off. So he's only been working, I don't know, one every third day or something in terms of percentage. But that could be it. They were really saving him up for this moment in Milwaukee to really deliver that message.
They had him in the cryo chamber.
The cryo chamber to jack him up.
Putting him in deep sleep, and they thought him out 30
Cell
seconds.
Regeneration for this moment.
30 seconds. They gave him the triple dose of President's Little Helper, thought him out, kicked him out on stage, and boom, that's just what exploded out. Impressive. You got to give it to him. He gets points for whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else with that?
No. Let's do a little COVID.
I love how nobody's buying it.
What? Nobody's buying it?
Sorry, nobody. I love how nobody's buying it.
Yeah. Well, it's low hanging fruit too in many ways. Yeah.
It's Corona time. COVID-19. 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 Yes. COVID-19. COVID-19. Vaccine. Number one way.
Yeah, so
okay. We've got some great stories here. Mostly we will be reporting on the communication regarding COVID and the vaccine. We are not making any bannable claims about the efficacy or the safety or the whatever. That is not what we do here. We are simply mainstream media, news, deconstruction, and analysis. We are not presenting any medical advice. YouTube. We are simply reading some stories from mainstream credible outlets, such as the DailyMail. DailyMail.com.uk. Headline: God gave us two arms, one for the flu shot and the other one for the COVID shot. Biden's COVID coordinator says White House plans to push for annual jabs.
They changed the headline. It's much shorter on my end. It didn't have the whole quote. It just says Biden's COVID coordinator says White House plans to push for annual shots. We do have the clip. Should I just play the clip?
Don't trust us. Hear the clip for yourself.
The other one for the COVID shot.
Oh, sorry. It was not prepped.
We forgot to rewind the clip.
I really believe this is why God gave us two arms, one for the flu shot and the other one for the COVID shot.
I really believe. This is why God gave us two arms, one for the flu shot, one for the COVID shot.
To set the stage, so this is one of those online live stream COVID-19 response press briefings. You have Anthony Fauci on the top left. You have Rochelle Walensky on the top right, looking really tan.
Very tan.
She must have been.
She is looking like Trump level tan. Oh my God. She's really got a POC look here.
I was going to say, maybe this is a transition.
She is darker than the Indian guy on the screen.
That's Dr. Ja there.
She looks
darker than Kamala.
Where do you even get a tan like that?
Wherever the director of Doom wants.
Did they yes, during the shakeup at the CDC, she moved the headquarters to Jamaica. I'm surprised she doesn't have like her hair braided and beads in it from her her week-long stay at Sandals Resort or something.
And you know it's a tan because you can tell that she's wearing sunglasses when because around her eyes she still has a little
bright
pale
eyes.
going on. Yeah, a little
Call
bright.
that the bright eyes. Yeah. That is ludicrous. That looks ridiculous.
I'm going to play the clip one more time and then we'll read the article.
I really believe this is why God gave us two arms, one for the flu shot and the other one for the COVID shot.
Man, I do wish I had a little bit more context on this. What?
Well, read the article.
I will. Joe Biden's I will, okay? Joe Biden's top advisor said the White House now wants people to have an annual jab to protect against the virus. So have they made a jab yet that lasts a whole year? I had not heard about this. The last reporting I heard was you need it 2 months, every 2 months. But okay. Saying it should be as routine as the flu shot. Dr. Ashish Jha, White House COVID-19 response coordinator, on Tuesday confirmed a long-hinted policy of the annual vaccinations. Quote, as the annual flu vaccination campaign kicks into high gear later this month and into early October, we expect millions will choose to get their COVID-19 shot at the same time. I will love to see if that happens. Or over the course of the fall when people go in for routine checkups, he said. Quote, the good news is you can get both your flu shot and COVID shot at the same time. It's actually a good idea. A good idea. I really believe this is why God gave us two arms, one for the flu shot and the other one for the COVID shot. Where's the separation of church and state people with this one? Where's the Satanic Temple coming in and boycotting or doing some activism?
Interesting.
In the spring, as it became apparent that an annual jab would likely be a preferred policy, some experts questioned whether the data supported the annual jab. Quote, it's alarming that there hasn't been organization around these vital questions so that we can actually answer them in a very enlightened and data-driven and knowledgeable manner. That is alarming. Luciana Borio, a former acting chief scientist at the FDA, who is now senior fellow for the global health at the Council on Foreign Relations. Oh my gosh. Never thought I'd agree with a member of the Council on Foreign Relations.
See, the PSYOP is working.
It really is. They got me. I'm a huge globalist now. She said in April, quote, it's so reactive, and we know that this just snowballs, and we end up being stuck with decisions that don't really make sense. Yeah, she would know. She was at the FDA. But on Tuesday, the White House administrators insisted... get out of here. Insisted that an unusual an annual shot was the best tool to control the pandemic. By the end of this week, 90% of Americans will live within 5 miles of sites carrying updated vaccines, Health Secretary Xavier Becerra said at a White House briefing. President Joe Biden said separately in a statement that for most Americans, quote, that means one COVID-19 shot once a year each fall. Rochelle Walensky, the director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, said that even with the 7-day average of COVID hospitalizations down 14% to 4,500 per day, Annual shots could save thousands of lives. This is very hard not to comment on. Quote, modeling projections show that an uptake of modeling projections. Yeah, thank you. The same models that said 2 million people were going to die in the first year. Modeling projections show that an uptake of updated COVID-19 vaccine doses similar to the annual flu vaccine coverage early this fall could prevent as many as 100,000 hospitalizations and 9,000 deaths and save billions of dollars in direct medical costs, she said. Top U.S. infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci said unless a dramatically different variant emerges, annual vaccines should offer enough protection for most people, but that some vulnerable groups might need more frequent vaccinations. Quote, we likely are moving towards a path with a vaccination cadence. Oh, geez. Vaccination cadence similar to that of the annual influenza vaccine with annual updated COVID-19 shots matched to the currently circulating strains for most of the population, he said. Okay.
This is also coming a month after Stephen Bancel, the CEO of Moderna, compared the COVID-19 vaccines to iPhones. Did you catch that one?
Yes, the updates. You're going to get your vaccine updates.
Yeah. So, he compared the potential. This is from Business Insider India. And the headline being Moderna CEO compares COVID-19 vaccines to iPhones, saying you'll probably be getting a new version each year. And, he says that...
Why are we still talking? It just doesn't even make sense to what we've been told about the vaccines.
Yeah, well.
That they have... I've not heard, have you heard, that it lasts a year?
No,
I've not heard this. So maybe they're just trying to get you get it in the fall, you get it in October, and then, you just got to make it through December.
And January, and
January, and February, and the end of March until spring comes around.
Yeah. So the quote here is, let's see. Yeah, he compared it to new apps. Hold on. Quote, that is exactly the same idea, which is you'll get COVID and flu and RSV in your single dose, and you'll get what's the best science of the moment to protect you from the strain circulating now and in the fall, winter, Bensel explained, but he added that a single dose vaccine would take some time to perfect. Quote, that's why I did kind of iPhone analogy, which is you don't get the amazing camera, amazing everything the first time you get an iPhone. But you get a lot of things already. Bancel told CNN he expects this new shot to, quote, take a few years, but said he could see some countries rolling something similar out as soon as 2023. Quote, I think within a 3 to 5 year window where every year you'll get a better product from Moderna that will protect you for all the things circulating.
Every year, which means... Man, are they doing some pretty quick testing, huh?
Well, not just that, but look at this. That will protect you from all the things circulating and with more and more coverage of different viruses.
All the things.
All the things. It's not just COVID.
What does this help with? Everything.
It's all the things.
All of the things.
You got cancer? Jibbit, jibbit, jibbit. You have no obesity problem? Jibbit, jibbit, jibbit.
All the things. That is incredible. I am grabbing a quick mainstream source.
Okay.
So we don't get kicked off.
Yes, this was Business Insider.
That was Business Insider. I am now grabbing this source from CNBC.
Okay.
This is not our opinion. This is CNBC. If you want to ban anybody, ban CNBC. Then get into our little thingy here.
Yep.
I'm just going to state something that we already is well known in the mainstream media. But again, just really don't want to get banned for reading the mainstream media. FDA authorizes COVID booster shots that target Omicron BA.5 variant. This is the new booster. This is the one that they're testing out. Going to Control F. Search the word mice.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, no.
It takes me takes me down to a section
mouse data
of the article that says mouse data. Let's see. So here's how they're spinning it. In addition to human data from the BA1 shots.
Okay.
So previous human data, not new human data. The authorization was also based on animal studies from the BA5 boosters. So we have animal studies on the booster, no human studies on this booster. We are using
they can't say that
human
outright,
studies from a different vaccine, Mark said. In June, Pfizer also presented data to the FDA's Independent Vaccine Advisory Committee that showed the bivalent Omicron BA5 shots increased antibodies in mice that protect against infection by about 2.6-fold compared to the original vaccine.
Okay.
Now, they did not put the number of mice in this article. They did not put. I know the number of mice, but I fear if I do not read it from a source. Let me find it real quick.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it too. I know the number too.
You know the number.
Yeah.
If you want to know exactly how many mice, what is the basis for Pfizer's booster?
Anybody know Kobe Bryant historically came into the league with the jersey number?
Just a quick sports break with Gons.
I'm just trying. Yes, a sports break. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now.
Unrelated
He
sports
started
break.
his career wearing the jersey number 8.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. That is a very interesting sports fact.
Yeah,
Gons.
yeah, I know. He changed it later, but
that couldn't possibly.
We don't need to worry about
any
that.
relevance to. Ars Technica. We could do Ars Technica, right?
I think so. Sure.
That's close enough.
Let me see if it's in the Harvard list there. Ars Technica. I don't think it is. I don't think it's big enough for that. But yeah, go ahead.
They're more of Yeah,
they are sort of lesser mainstream, I suppose.
Ars Technica that's mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Preclinical data. In June, the FDA told manufacturers that they could use data on their BA1 targeting booster as part of the authorization request for their BA4/5 targeting boosters. In addition, they could provide preclinical data, such as animal data. All right.
Yeah.
So human data from a different vaccine, animal data from this one. In an email exchange to Ars on Monday, Pfizer noted that Pfizer said this themselves, sent it to Ars Technica. Pfizer noted that it only had efficacy data on its BA4/5 bivalent booster from mice. In 8 mice, the BA4/5 bivalent booster generated about 2.6-fold increase in neutralizing antibody levels against the BA4/5 subvariants compared to the company's current booster. 8 mice, Gons! Single digits! The company's presented that mouse data to the FDA in June. In an email to Ars, they really gotta they can't truncate the name. They cannot call themselves Ars. They are Ars Technica. Pfizer indicated it hadn't collected any new preclinical efficacy data since then. It remains unclear how the BA4/5 targeting booster compares with the BA1 targeting booster. 8 mice.
Hey, that's enough.
Here's the real question. How many mice were there to start with? How many mice did they start with? They couldn't have possibly just picked the number 8 mice to run their entire test. 8 were the ones who survived, Cons. They were the ones. The entire Pfizer booster program is based on human data from a different vaccine and positive outcomes from 8 tiny little guys.
Okay, I'm looking at the PDF document from cdc.gov/vaccines/ACIP. It's a big long thing. And it's titled Preclinical Studies of Booster Doses of Bivalent BA.4/5 containing vaccine. Is this the same one you were looking at?
Yep.
Okay, so it says, let's see, K18HACE2 mice previously vaccinated with primary series of mRNA-1273, N equals 8 to 10 per group.
There you go.
Per
Don't know
group,
what that
though.
means.
How many groups did they test? Maybe that's their little out. Because
I don't know. I mean, they said it themselves. Pfizer admits.
I know, but
the
these
data
guys
that
are
they
really
are
bad
working
with
on.
PR. Sometimes they leave out stuff that makes conspiracy theorists peddle false information.
Well, that's what I want to know. I want to know how many mice were there.
That's what I'm trying to find too.
It is
8
interesting.
to 10 per group. So how many groups? That's my question.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, right. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Was that a mistype? Did Pfizer do a very, very, very bad job at writing an email to Ars Technica?
Maybe. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hold on.
8
Let's see,
mice,
group.
folks. No human trials.
Let's see.
Well,
yeah.
At least the people who are getting the vaccine, they are doing a service to science. It's them and 8 mice sacrificing.
Do you think the
for
mice
the good
are,
of humanity?
The mice are rebelling at this point? It's possible that they're.
I want to know these mice. Can we get the mice on the podcast? Anything else on this?
I don't think so. I'm just kind of poking around this document here. I'm not seeing. I mean, the word mice appears 5 times. Let me see where else it appears.
Is that the study? I hope the word mice
it's the
shows
study.
up.
Yeah, it's the study.
Yeah.
Increased protection. Yeah. Okay. Mice challenged with 10 to the 4th PFU and BFA variant 4 weeks after booster dose.
Love it. We're getting the science on air. Nobody can say that we're not reading the actual study on air.
Yeah, so there you
I
go.
don't know what any of that means.
A lot of numbers. There's a control 8.
Are you showing it on screen?
I am, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah, this is
there.
It
You
right
go,
here.
Susan.
Yep, 8 PBS mRNA. Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, there you go. It doesn't, it's always interesting when there's numbers in these reports, but not a lot of clarity. I wish there was more clarity.
Well, you got to be a scientist to read them. That's the gatekeeping mechanism. You gotta have the education, or else you're not qualified to read the science. But we're putting it on the screen so anybody who is qualified can take a look at it. I trust Pfizer to tell the truth, and if they say that 8 mice found a benefit from this vaccine that will then be available to public, including children, I trust them.
Hey,
I trust that they communicated well.
Well, God made mice with 2 arms as well.
That's true?
Yeah.
Well,
sort of.
Actually, it didn't make mice with any arms. They have 4 legs, I think.
Yeah, not the
I'm
ones
not a
I've
mouse
seen.
scientist.
Did their front arms look like legs, or front legs look like arms? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Here's some more news for you.
Okay, yeah.
While we're on the topic, this is coming from Yahoo News. It's mirrored from USA Today. Providers report dozens of errors giving Pfizer's COVID vaccine. Experts worry new boosters will fuel more.
Oh.
Uh-oh. At least 87 times in the last few months, okay. At least 87 times in the last few months, a healthcare provider has given a young child the wrong dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Luckily, none resulted in serious medical problem, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Oh, good.
According to them.
Yeah, according to them.
But it shows the challenge of delivering a vaccine. Yeah, because all the myocarditis obviously was not caused by the vaccine.
Fake news, Basil.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm saying it wasn't. I'm saying that would have happened anyways.
Sure.
But it shows the challenge of delivering a vaccine that comes in multiple doses from different companies, some that require diluting and others that don't. The decision last week to add new COVID-19 boosters for everyone over 12 adds another layer of complexity. Add to the mix new monkeypox vaccines, which have a delivery system most providers haven't used before. And the onset of the annual flu shot season, administering vaccines today can be complicated, Gons. If it were easy, anybody could do it. Quote, there's definitely opportunity for error, said Dr. Kelly Moore, Chief Executive Officer of Immunize.org, which educates healthcare professionals about U.S. vaccine recommendations. Quote, these errors aren't necessarily dangerous, but they are likely to occur due to people's unfamiliarity with the new products. According to the CDC's VAERS reporting system. Ooh,
VAERS. Okay, I thought VAERS was not a reliable source, but okay.
VAERS is fake news. You can't trust VAERS, I thought. That's what I was told. According to the CDC's VAERS reporting system, 87 dosage mistakes were made when giving a Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine to a child younger than 5. Oof. Representing 18% of the reported errors with that vaccine.
Wait a minute.
Oh, so 89 mistakes were just in children younger than 5.
Yeah.
It means there were more.
Well, there's definitely more, but then
18% of the errors with that vaccine. In that age group, but only a fraction of the total of 890,000 shots administered. White House COVID-19 coordinator Dr. Ashish Jha says there has been no evidence of wide-scale mistakes, but assured the Food and Drug Administration is very aware of the issue. So they're talking specifically about dosing mistakes. Quote, I am confident the systems continue to work effectively. And see, this is tough, man, because VAERS, as we were told over and over and over, for reasons why we shouldn't trust it, is self-reported. Mm-hmm. And the ones who are reporting this are the doctors. So the doctors are the ones noticing a problem with dosage that they gave someone and then admitting and reporting it. So, if the number reported is 87 for 5 and under, you gotta, math dictates it would be more than 87.
Well, yeah, and what we were told constantly was that, the number
people
that's
are fakers.
Reported. Yeah, well, not just that, but the number reported on VAERS is only a fraction.
Right. Yeah, exactly. They called it 1/10.
Yeah, 1/10 of the reality.
Or no, it was 1% is what they said.
Was it 1%?
That's what the Harvard study said.
Oh, right. I think
Remember the Harvard study on VAERS?
Yeah.
Might need to pull that up so we don't get banned. Quote, I am confident the systems continue to work effectively, but I know the FDA continues to monitor this very closely, he said during a White House briefing Tuesday. Now, here's the systems. You ready for the effective systems?
Sure.
This is really great. Both Moderna and Pfizer-BioNTech vaccines have been available since late June to the youngest children, but one of Pfizer-BioNTech's vaccines requires dilution. Remember that statement. So they said both Pfizer and Moderna have vaccines for the youngest children, but one of Pfizer-BioNTech's vaccines requires dilution, kind of giving the impression that one of these children's vaccines requires dilution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In addition to clear labeling, manufacturers distinguish the COVID-19 vaccines by using different colors for vial caps. Pfizer-BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine comes in a gray for those over 12, orange for children 5 to 11, and maroon caps for younger children over 6 months. The companies also have an adult dose that requires dilution in a purple cap. Moderna's vaccines come in a red cap, blue cap with the purple label, and a blue cap with magenta label.
Oh, my gosh.
Are you getting the system, guys? Labels and color caps can help. God's name it. There's the test.
They're saying the reason why there's a mistake is because of the coloring system.
You gotta
of the caps.
remember the colors of the labels. They don't just put it on the label. That is for children. Got to remember the maroon cap or the gray cap or the orange cap or the purple cap.
It's different from the labels on the caps, which is for Moderna, the red cap and blue cap with the purple label.
Listen to this.
Distinguished from the purple cap of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID
Labels
vaccine.
and colored caps can help.
Oh, good.
But there are now so many different doses and bottles, it's hard to keep straight, said Dr. Grace Lee. Finally, someone speaking truth to power. Dr. Grace Lee. There's too many colors. I can't keep it straight. A professor of pediatrics at Stanford University School of Medicine, an associate chief medical officer at Lucille Packard Children's Hospital. The labeling issues are impairing our ability to deliver vaccines, said Lee, who is also a chair of federal advisory committee that reviewed the vaccines last week. Remember how they're ignoring all of these committees? This guy's on the committee. He's probably making a stink about the labels, and they're like, nah, that's fine, let's go. Quote, the growing complexity of the immunization schedule and the multiple products needed for different age groups for different purposes and with different time intervals between doses is challenging, end quote. This is especially true now that Pfizer is using another gray cap for its new bivalent booster. There's 2 gray caps! Said Michael Cohen, founder and president emeritus of the Institution for Safe Medication Practices, a nonprofit working to prevent medication errors. Quote, it is very confusing, he said. Pfizer's bivalent booster, quote, label doesn't look all that different from the gray label that is presently out there. End quote. Another advisory committee member, Dr. Matthew Daly, said during last week's meeting he's heard of families who were hesitant about vaccinations and then learned their children received the higher dose. Quote, we run the risk of losing confidence in the program more broadly the more that happens, said Daly, a senior clinician investigator at the Institute for Health and Research at Kaiser Permanente, Colorado. A best practice is to triple check patient information and the vaccine label before administering a shot. More
good.
said.
The best practice is to check the label before administering?
Label.
Come on.
We have a stringent set of best practices. It's check the label before giving it to someone. But it's easier to spot a mistake when there are different cap colors. Some electronic health record systems also incorporate cap colors into shorthand when ordering shots. Now that Pfizer has 2 shots with gray caps, Moore said some healthcare providers will have to change those systems. Quote, we refer to Pfizer's product for adults and adolescents as the gray cap, she said. Quote, we have to modify our own website. Okay, we get it. You got to change your website. Pfizer's label. Oh, listen to this. Pfizer's label could also be clearer, Cohen argued. Let's get into the label.
Oh, good. Good, yes.
In
That's
addition, they can make it clear.
That's a good argument, Cohen.
Yeah, we can make the labels clear. In addition to the product description, Moderna's label has a large gray banner that says in all caps, booster doses only, according to the National Institutes of Health's National Library of Medicine. So they got that information from the Library of Medicine, not like from an actual bottle. Listen to this. Explicit expiration dates also don't appear on any of the COVID-19 vaccine labels, Cohen said. Instead, healthcare providers must look up the expiration date through a lot number or a QR code, depending on the company. Quote, wow. If they don't even put the expiration date on the bottle. Quote, we've had people contact us that they gave a vaccine that was expired because they didn't see an expiration date, he said. Cohen suggested pharmacies look up and print out their own expiration date to add to the label. Okay. It's not uncommon for clinics to implement their own strategies to avoid further confusion and error. It, quote, means access can be limited by day and by site, and particularly if the volume of patients is small. She said, in an ideal world, our job is to ensure that we do not miss opportunities to vaccinate. Our job is to ensure we do not miss opportunities to vaccinate. But these complexities make it challenging to manage. Daly of Kaiser Permanente, Colorado, said, simplification is essential and encouraged. Vaccine manufacturers to work with the FDA. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky said federal agencies are looking into strategies without reducing product volume. And then you get some statements from Walensky that are completely useless.
Hey, easy.
I'm sorry. They do not express the amount of concern that I would prefer from my unelected leader of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. I would like Walensky to respond a little firmer than, this is a concern that has been raised, Walensky said during Tuesday White House briefing. We are doing an extraordinary amount of education for those administering the vaccine for exactly that reason. Mm-hmm. The FDA has not yet responded to requests for comments on the incidence of errors or efforts being done to prevent them. In the meantime, health experts encourage providers to take extra time to ensure the right vaccine is going to the right patient's arm. And it goes on. Oh, no, this is the best.
Oh.
All right. Okay. You ready for the answer? The answer to the problem.
Yeah.
All right. We obviously can't put like clear things on the labels.
Yeah.
We cannot fix the color code problem. Mm-hmm. We cannot fix any of that. So here's what we do. Patients can also reduce the risk of errors by being more involved in their care.
Oh, my gosh.
Health experts say patients can ask to see the label before the pharmacist or nurse administers the vaccine. They can also help free up appointment times by getting their COVID booster and flu shot in one visit, Moore said. They are putting it on the patient.
Yeah, that's not right.
The label.
Come on, that's not fair.
Of the vaccine.
We're supposed to be able to blindly trust our medical people.
And that's exactly the point. Isn't it interesting how we've been told we need to explicitly trust the heroes in our health system, specifically the ones involved in administering and creating the vaccines. And now, turns out, the only way to guarantee that you don't get a whoopsie daisies shot is to check the label yourself. It's just mind-blowing, completely mind-blowing. And you better remember those colors, folks. Gray, orange, purple, orange. There's another gray one, I think. Blue. All these things. So there you go. I'm
just going to connect the dots. I think Biden killed Big Pharma.
We beat Pharma this year. We beat Pharma this year, and it mattered. We're going to change people's lives.
This is what it looks like. Yeah, Biden slayed Big Pharma, and now it is up to us, the patients, to decode the ancient runes on the bottles of magic juice before our priests of scientism.
This confusion sounds very Biden-esque. I'm not saying Biden was responsible, but put a gray. For the old gray people, get the gray label, and then
what about the boosters? Make that one gray too.
Make it gray too.
But this other one's gray. Make them different gray. Oh, jeez. Yeah,
we are really far behind, by the way, on today's episode.
It's madness. It's complete madness. Everything's madness. But there you go. There's some mainstream reporting.
Mm-hmm. It's been a while since we did some more COVID stuff, so that was kind of fun.
Yeah. This is a weird time. Let's take a little break, take a look at some art.
Break.
This is break. Don't just consume the content, but
become the content. Become the content.
Take a break.
yes, we encourage our listeners to step up with their talent as well as their time and help build the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk. And all we ask is that you make it about the show or related to the show, something for the show. Yeah. We know there's lots of talented people that have done many projects in the past, and maybe you're compelled to share that stuff, but we just ask that you do something unique for the show. We start off with some audio production.
Audio production.
Yes, and we're going to kick things off with Caleb, who came in with a bunch of jingles. We'll play each one here. They're not too long. He has a note. Made a few jingles. The first is a lizard food jingle.
Insects are the food of the future.
Cricket snacks. Sounds good.
What are you talking about? Lizard! Reptilian hybrids.
Yeah.
I love it.
The second
really well done.
Is an all-purpose lizard boy jingle.
He's a lizard boy.
What are you talking about? Lizard! Reptilian hybrids.
Yeah.
Fun.
The third is a Bezos jingle.
Jeffrey Bezos.
Which was clipped and edited from a song I recently heard. Oh,
yeah,
good.
the Bo Burnham song. It's a good song.
Okay. Also included is a shorter version if you prefer to use that one.
CEO entrepreneur.
I think I did it backwards. This is a long version. I just played the shorter version.
CEO entrepreneur. Born in 1964. Jeffrey Bezos.
Is this from the stand-up routine that you were ranting and raving about, the Bo Burnham?
The pandemic special that Bo Burnham made. It's called Inside. Yeah, it's good. He modulated it a little bit. Hopefully that will help the things. We'll see if we get dinged on that or not. Yeah, we will see. But thank you very much, Caleb.
Thank you, Caleb. All right, we got a thing from Jonathan F. as well.
Jonathan F.
Here's a note. Hey guys, Poco Joe 33 came through with plenty of ideas for a jingle. She was a great help and inspiration for this little piece of audio. Anyways, enjoy and God bless.
The gates of hell shall not prevail. The gates of hell shall not prevail. And 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 the gates of hell. And I tell you, the gates of hell. On this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven.
Very cool. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's very in your face. It's punchy. It's scripture. It's good. Good stuff. Thank you very much, Jonathan F. and Poco Joe 33 for the idea. We're going to move on to some art.
One art, please.
And we started off with Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And I am showing the wrong piece here. Excuse me. Here we go. And this one is accompanied by a haiku. Bed, Bath, and Corporate Upheaval, a Dame Ebony Blaze haiku. Bed Bath & Beyond, sales down 26%. Stock down 43%. CEO was fired. COO was fired last week. Closing many stores. CFO facing pump and dump class action lawsuit. Class action suit inflating stock price. Gustavo Arnal jumped from Jenga building home. He did not survive.
Poor fella. Gustavo Arnal. Nice portrait here. Pencil portrait from Dame Allie. Really, really well done. This fella kind of looks like a Ronald Reagan type.
I was going to say that was my first impression as well. I'd never seen this guy before.
Yeah.
But that was the impression I got from Allie's drawing.
Looks like a real leader.
Yeah, and I believe he was pretty young too. Was he 52? Maybe he's a little older. I'm trying to find it in the article here.
Yeah,
It's not
very well done.
But yeah, great job on the art.
Excellently done. As far as I'm concerned, perfect. He's got those big old presidential teeth. This guy needs to become a politician.
Well, not anymore. I mean,
I'll bet you dollars to donuts he gets into politics.
After he's resurrected from the dead, or what?
Is he dead?
Yeah, he died.
Oh, I thought he just got fired.
No, he jumped out of a window.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He committed suicide.
Well, that's too bad. Sorry, Gustavo.
Wow, I don't want to laugh about
I
misheard committing suicide, but
I misheard the thing.
Yeah, I think he was in some trouble, with the stock thing, and that kind of thing can be very.
What is the Jenga building home thing? Did his house look like a Jenga building?
I don't know. It's in the article here.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you very much, Dame Allie and Dame Ebony Blade.
Yes, thank you very much. A lot of stuff like this going on recently, and I was thinking too, Allie's sort of book of art at the end of the day will be very, very not just great in terms of the progress of her art, but just archiving so many stories,
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, thank you very much, Dame Allie and Dame Ebony Blaze. Next up, we have Sir Dove, Knight of Rusbeltia.
One art piece from Dove.
Here's a note piece for today's artwork. I made a sticker design for Basil at the Burn. Maybe the next time he's out doing rituals in the desert, he can slap a few of these up. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins.
Observe and report. Observe and report. This is hilarious. So you've got the man. He's there. He's got googly eyes on. Down below the man is an illustrated rendition from the picture from the we took at the meetup that I was at. Got my big beard on. Got my big giant googly eye on my hat there, doing a cool crouch position. I'm holding the sticks that I was given at the meetup. The sticks are on fire, and indeed, so is the man behind me. Looks like I got to set him ablaze. And up top there in fiery letters, it says, "Burn, baby, burn." And then at the bottom, of course, the link, http://canarycry.party. This is excellent. Definitely need to get this sticker made. Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
Thank you, Sir Dove. Appreciate it. We also have a note and a piece from, I called her Irene, and I'm realizing that she did have a name that she went with before, but I don't know. I think I kind of blew it last episode. Basil, if you missed it, she did have a dream. And she made a microfiction out of the dream and some art. So if you didn't catch that, go check that out. It's pretty good.
I will.
And she has a note here. "Hello again. I have another piece of art, although I'm not sure if it's too late for today's show." No, it's not. I had this visual last Monday when Gons was reviewing the Burning Man events features and said that if he were to go, that's where he would hang out, at the hammock forest. It's meant to accompany last week's art, but I didn't get to draw it out until this morning. Welcome back, Basil. Hope you enjoy it. God bless Irene.
I do enjoy. Thank you very much, Irene.
Yeah, and it's a drawing of Basil on a hammock.
On a hammock, enjoying myself very much. Did that come in through the Proton Mail?
It was through Proton Mail, yeah.
Ah, okay. That's why I don't have it right here.
And at the top it says, "Ah, yeah," and then research in quotations.
I will say I did get to lay in a hammock, and that may have been the highlight. It was a good hammock.
A
lot of hammocks.
Think about
hanging
what's going on.
from strange art piece constructions over there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Irene. And let us know if you want us to go back to your other. I don't want to give it away right now, because then the association might be made. So if you are to send in again, we will use the proper name.
We can go back, and we're very good at that.
Yeah.
It just was not in our database of pseudonyms.
Yeah. In my brain. It was in the email database. It was not in our brain database.
It was?
It was, yeah. Okay. Next up, thank you very much, Irene. Next up, we have a couple pieces from Sir Darren Knight of the Hungry Panda. Or pandas. Was it plural? I forget. I think it was the Knight of the Hungry Pandas.
I think it's multiple pandas.
Yeah. This one's titled Basil's Waifu Labs Kitty AI Returns, only to have Flippy flirt with her. Typical.
Flippy, no! Wow, this is a callback.
Yeah.
You remember the Waifu Labs?
Yes.
That was like 2016, 2017 CCNT.
Yeah.
When there was a website where you could, I think it was randomly generated AI waifus. Mm-hmm. For those who don't know, a waifu is like an anime style girlfriend that you can create. We were doing a report on the thing. And this seems like a almost exact replica of my waifu from that artificial intelligence. Thank you very much, Darren. And we got a couple. What do you got up? You got the GIF. Yes, we got a GIF.
Did I miss the other piece of art? Hold on. Let me see if
There's a couple variations. So this is one of them.
Sir Darren,
and it's got a couple robot arms. One of them is you flipped over to the Clippy one, I think.
I was going to say, I must have missed downloading the one you were talking about with the waifu because I only have this.
They're very similar.
Okay,
they're based on the same basic art. So, but yes, this one is the Clippy one. And it is my chibi waifu there. She's got a VR headset on her head with big googly eyes, and she's looking all flirty anime girl. There's a little canary flapping her wings around while Flippy, the arm, is sort of accosting the canary. There's another Flippy arm holding a pair of scissors, clipping a YouTube logo, presumably to thank our Clippies. And at the end of the GIF, it says, "Thanks, Clippies." And that'll be an excellent GIF to play while we thank the Clippies.
Yep. There you go.
So try to have that lined up. Thank you very much, Darren. He had a similar one lined up. It was just kind of like a variation on the theme that didn't have the Clippy stuff in it.
Okay, so I'm trying to, all right. I see it. It doesn't look like I'm able to download anything other than those two images here.
Yeah,
so.
That's okay. If you got that, you got the gist.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Darren.
Thank you, Darren S. Sir Darren S.
Yes.
There you go. That's it for the artwork. And that's it for the producers. We don't have any microfiction today. So there you go. And we're late anyway. So, kind of works out.
Oh, and by the way, Darren did send a still image of the Thanks Clippies as well.
Right. Yes, we got that.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yep.
Is that all the art?
Yep, that's it.
Love it. We have no microfiction today. As was discussed by Runk Smash in his producer note. And so I think
30 seconds ago.
Well, I was
it's
busy
okay. I'm
looking
sure
at
you were busy looking at something else. Yeah.
A GIF of a cute waifu.
You were distracted. Your googly eyes are
by my artificially
away.
Intelligent anime girlfriend.
You're like the Russians.
Yeah.
You're easily distracted by attractive.
Well, I'm not perfect, guys. I'm not perfect yet. All right, let's wake up. Let's finish out the show here.
Okay.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, y'all, wake up.
Welcome to the Metaverse.
All right. Let's land this plane. I'm tired. I have two metaverse-related stories.
Long show.
I know. This first one is from Kotaku.com. And the headline here, NFT zealot advocates turning players from developing nations into NPCs. And, it's funny because every time I bring a metaverse article, you're a little skeptical. You're a little bit like, another metaverse.
I like this one.
Metaverse article. But I knew you'd like it because it's very on point with our show.
It has a lot to do with stuff we've been talking about for a long time.
Yep, I'll read it real quick here. A common thread linking this is more of an op-ed piece from this author here. A common thread linking my complete revulsion for all things blockchain and AI is the sheer inhumanity of it all. Devotees of these tech bro causes are so focused on technology, profits, and market forces while remaining oblivious to their effects and consequences that at times it feels like they have become completely disconnected from the human experience. We've covered this to death over the last couple years, from failed NFT experiments to the looming specter of AI-generated art. But today, I want to draw your attention to one of the most extraordinary things I have ever seen committed to print in the name of future technology. This person has not been reading enough things committed to print about the future of technology if this quote is the most remarkable thing, even though, I'm glad people are getting into this stuff, but, there's been some pretty egregious stuff written for a long time. This terrific feature on NFT and crypto gaming focused mostly on Minecraft servers and Axie Infinity, WOMP, which is, everything fell during the bear market, is by Nerian Gray Desai. And you should definitely read the whole thing over on Rest of World for a great, if also incredibly bleak, look at the markets surrounding play-to-earn games. But there's one section that truly stands out and made me stop dead in my tracks reading it. And there's kind of like a block quote from that article. Mikhail Kassar, a chartered accountant and a member of Wolves DAO, a group that consults with NFT gaming projects in the early stages of their development, told Rest of World that some players will always go wherever they can make more money. Quote, "They will play Pac-Man if they can earn more," he said. According to Kassar, NFT renting mechanisms in play-to-earn games are important to keep them accessible to poorer players. Quote, "You have people that have money but don't have time to play the game. And, on the other hand, you have people that don't have money but have time," he said. He sees a future, however, where guild ownership and management could upend the model of wealthy Western players managing those in low-income countries. Quote, "Filipinos can band together to buy some assets and then rent them out to themselves and make money that way," end quote, he said. But he also envisions NFT games that could exploit the wealth gap between players to deliver a different experience. Quote, "With the cheap labor of a developing country, you can use people in the Philippines as NPCs, non-playable characters, real-life NPCs in your game," said Kassar.
Oh my gosh.
They could, quote, "just populate the world, maybe do a random job, or just walk back and forth, fishing, telling stories, a shopkeeper, anything is really possible," end quote. And then there's one sentence from this author. "Let me be very clear here when I say I wish nothing but the worst for everyone involved in this group." But yeah, the blatant
this is really incredible.
Call, yeah.
Really incredible. For those who maybe didn't catch all the gamer speak in there, he's talking about, so this pay-to-play economy is an interesting aspect of kind of what the futurists in the gaming industry are trying to do, which is
the metaverse.
Try to make playing video games a job, find a way to make, playing a video game a way to make income. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of ways that this can be done. I'm not going to explain them all. One of the ways that he is suggesting is that you have real humans play the non-player characters in a game. Now, NPC is the short for that. So NPC, non-player character, that's like, I don't know, imagine you're, non-player, for instance, they said Pac-Man, okay? Yeah. Everybody knows Pac-Man. Mm-hmm. You play Pac-Man. You control Pac-Man. Mm-hmm. The ghosts are NPCs. They are not controlled by a player. Mm. That is probably that is a good basic explanation of that. And what he's suggesting is poor people in poor countries play the ghosts in Pac-Man. Now, that might actually be even more humanizing than what happens in games nowadays, which is most NPCs are literal scenery. Mm-hmm. They're like a whole NPC's job, most of them, is to just basically be scenery. If you're in a town,
right? If you're in a town, you see people walking around or doing things.
Person walking around doing nothing. GTA, Grand Theft Auto. A lot of people have played that game. Just a random guy walking down the street is an NPC, and this guy is suggesting that you pay poor people in poor countries to control those NPCs. Your job would be to control a little guy walking around and wait for some Western gamer to come run you over with an SUV or something.
Yeah, I mean, not even that. Just be inconsequential. Be scenery. Yeah, like you said, it's really, you don't have to do anything as long as you're there. You're earning money.
Yeah, and this makes no sense because why would you pay somebody to do that? It is significantly cheaper just to make an AI that does it, or not even an AI, just program the character to do something, and then boom, it's free forever. There'd be no reason to pay somebody to do this, on top of the fact that it's incredibly insulting. Now, yes, would they prefer, what is a poor person in a poor country, prefer to sit and walk around in a video game than go to a Nike like child slave factory and build shoes? Yeah, they'd probably rather play the video game, admittedly. But as we've been exploring for years now, we're talking about manufacturing jobs. You've got America trying to bring manufacturing jobs back onshore. That's one thing. It's going to take jobs from the third world countries. Mm-hmm. On top of that, you've got robotics. Mm-hmm. America is not the only country worried about robotics taking over manufacturing. All of these factories in China and the Philippines and Taiwan and all our traditional, sort of proto-globalist supply chain things where all of our stuff is being made by people in poor people in other countries, unfortunately, they're losing their jobs to robots. The robots will be significantly cheaper. And in order to populate, I think this is most interesting in the metaverse, because we talk about the metaverse as, in the same way that the technocratic futurists talk about, is that it will be one version of reality that you can choose to spend your time in.
Right.
And the metaverse will have NPCs as well. If you want to spend your whole life in the metaverse, playing games, doing this sort of stuff, there will be a need for non-player characters. Oh, no. But they will not be non-player characters. That will be a young person down on their luck in the Philippines being paid almost literally nothing to sit there and control a little guy just walking back and forth, maybe give you a quest. If you're lucky, he'll be one of the NPCs that gives you a cool quest to do or something. It is the most dehumanizing, absurd, dystopian future you could possibly imagine. It is so bizarre.
Yeah. Well, we said it was going to be weird, and this is partially why, there should be somebody in there preaching the gospel, right?
That's right.
You're already halfway in there.
It is. I mean, you have people being paid to literally be second-class citizens.
Yeah, in a video game.
In a video game.
Not even, because usually in a video game, it's like, oh, you imagine to be a superhero or something like that. But in this case, it's like, no. But I like the way the guy phrases it, too. You can just walk back and forth. You can go fishing. You can tell stories. A shopkeeper. Anything is possible. But it's like, wait a minute. If anything's possible, I want to be the superhero, picking up cars and chucking it across towns. And
what do you do? What do you do for a living? Oh, I control a guy in the metaverse who walks to his mailbox twice a day. I just kind of wait.
And so anyway, the absurdity is abound.
Ghoulish. Yeah, ghoulish. Ghoulish, this suggestion. And the problem is that this suggestion is not really that far off. No. It is totally possible. Once the robots take all of the manufacturing jobs, you'll have entire countries of people who will do anything for an income. And the thought of a poor foreign person living in squalid conditions, getting paid pennies to control the NPC who walks to his mailbox twice a day, and what is what benefit does that bring to the game? Almost nothing.
Oh,
there's no reason.
It's populated by real people, Basil. It's not
exactly
just AI. It's real people.
It's marketing for the game. So the 12-year-old in Duluth who is playing the game, when his mom walks in and says, "What game are you playing?" Like, "Oh, it's this metaverse game." I don't know about these video games. No, Mom. All these people, they're real people. This is entirely populated by real people. Wow, I'm going to play this game forever, and it costs me $100 a month because we have to pay all these NPCs. It is just the most bizarre evolution of human economy.
Well, it's interesting because it's creating status, like economic status in the metaverse, and sort of bridging it to the real world. You know, it's like you're poor, so do this. Be the poor people.
So
in the
you
game.
mean nothing.
Yeah, you mean
in
nothing.
real life and in the game.
Yeah.
And you think, well, at least it's giving an income. At least it's better than working in the factory. But as we all know, work at its best needs to be more than just an income.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why suicide and depression is so common in people who, just people in general.
Just people in general, but very successful.
Lack of meaning. If you don't feel that what you do every day means anything, you are much more susceptible to depression and suicidal thoughts and things like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's truly ghoulish and wild that these tech bros are seriously considering this.
Yeah. One more thing from the metaverse, and it's typical to be hijacked by billionaires on our show. Not a direct hijacking, but it's getting pretty close. This is Coindesk.com in the headline here. Golden State Warriors is co-owner to start fantasy sports style NFT game. Fantasy sports style. Golden State's Warrior basketball team co-owner and online retailer Zappos' founder, Nick Swinmurn, is entering the non-fungible token game with Play Hellebore, a fantasy sports style platform that lets users predict the outcome of professional sports games for blockchain-based prizes.
Is this guy trying to step on my New World Order fantasy?
It's very interesting. You go to the website, and it's got kind of a footballish theme. You got your Hellebore creature characters there. There's nothing. It's not directly a ripoff, but listen, when you look at the style, you kind of have that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, it's very similar. I gotta say, the website.
This is bizarre.
It's.
What?
I mean, I don't know. Websites are very similar in general with the templates and stuff, but I gotta say.
It's like an NFT fantasy game where
I've been saying we need to turn this thing into an NFT, the New World Order Fantasy League. We need to NFT this whole thing, but the fact that these guys are kind of doing it. The idea is
very similar, though. Yeah. They're doing a fantasy game on made-up characters.
Yep.
Which, if there's any lawyers listening, the New World Order Fantasy League is surrounding made-up characters as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
I'm starting to lose my ability to be outraged at the world stealing all of my ideas.
Oh, good. You're coming around to where I've been at,
I'm starting to lose my ability.
There's only so much anger. You know what it is? Anger is a reactionary type of emotion. Underneath the anger is sadness, Basil. You're reaching the stage of just sadness. You're just sad.
Yeah, I think you're right. Thank you, therapist Gons. Can I not do one thing on this earth without some rich
billionaire
celebrity
completely ripping it off?
Completely ripping me off. I cannot do one thing without somebody with more resources snatching it from my grasp.
Yeah, I wonder what blockchain is this built on? How to play, creating a wallet. I just want to see because they have the mint button here, which means MetaMask, Coinbase wallet. Okay, they're doing the same thing I was trying to do with a lot of the NFT stuff. So onboarding people onto MetaMask or Coinbase wallet is sort of the entry point to Web3. Maybe I need to dust off that Web3 tutorial and get people to understand what's happening, because it is different, folks. You're used to logging into a bank account, with your username and password.
Sorry.
Continue. In Web3, it's a little different. You're going to log into your wallet first, and then you connect to different websites. But there's dangers and risks involved with that. You can connect your website or connect your wallet to a scam website, and then all of a sudden all your assets get drained and stuff. So it's not perfect.
You know this by experience.
I do.
We got to mint another NFT for the supply droppers coming up.
I know. We need to make one for Q2 and Q3.
For nothing else, it's much safer for our people to learn that economy from us.
Yeah, that's true.
Rather than some
especially
billionaire or scammer.
Yeah, if your wallet gets drained of the Canary Cry supply drop NFTs,
not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world. Too bad for the scammers. Not going to necessarily, unless something blows up and secondary market, those NFTs skyrocket in Ethereum price or something. But I don't foresee that necessarily happening. But yeah, I was just I like to keep an eye on what's happening in the NFT metaverse world there, and I just have to say that this is it just feels very familiar. When I went to this website especially, I was like, wow, they got kind of that blurry.
They kind of almost ripped off our website.
Yeah,
too.
Just the top part where it's got that kind of TV feel.
Full size header image.
Yeah, the full size header with the blurry football stadium background.
The mixed medium background.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like the billionaire said, like, hey, look at this website here. Look at this. It's actually a great idea, but can't really give them any money. So
this is what happens when we have all of our best ideas
just
on a publicly available podcast. Jeez Louise. All right, that's it, everybody.
Yeah, we gotta wrap.
We're out of here.
Gotta wrap.
Never saying a good idea on this podcast again. As if I ever did. Cha. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We'll be back on Friday. That's right, Friday. So be there. It's going to be awesome. Thank you to our executive producer, Maureen M., for making this show possible.
Thank you,
of course,
Maureen
the rest of our financial producers. But we got producers, they keep this show going with their time, their talent, or their treasure. And let's thank some Clippies keeping the show going.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, we got the... Hold on, let me... Because there's
the GIF.
Got the GIF.
Gonna stall. Well, Guns gets the GIF. Clippy on those videos. Thanks. That's right. Canary Cry Clips on YouTube and Odyssey. Go follow it. Go check out the segments that are there. Share them with your friends. Review the information yourself. And don't forget to drop a little message and thank producer Emsworth and producer Faye Liverin for making it all possible, bringing it into existence and maintaining it for all of us. You guys are the best. And of course, thank you to the timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work.
Right, the timestamps go into so much of our back end, and thank you to Jackie Yu for last episode's timestamps, episode 530.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And of course, our social media gal.
The social media consultant.
Thanks so much.
Social media.
Thanks, Dame Miss G of OV and Deep Rivers. Make sure to go to canarycrymeetups.com.
Canary Cry Meetup.
Like I mentioned, lots of meetups coming up, lots of meetups gone by, but there's still more. You can put one on yourself if you'd like. We highly recommend it. The meetups have been going so sweetly. And if you are somewhere in the world, if you exist in the world, there's probably a Canarian somewhere in your vicinity. And perhaps it'll just take putting on a meetup and making it enticing enough to lure them out of their cage. But these meetups are wonderful fellowship experiences, opportunities to meet people who listen to the show, not just for nothing, but it's good to really find a family I mean, you're already family. You might as well find each other. But you guys will get along. And, of course, when things go south, you'll have somebody who you don't need to convince them that things are going south. Your apocalypse buddies are right there. We've got Sierra City, California on September 17th.
Yeah, let me...
it's going to be fun.
Let me play the audio that accompanied this piece here, this flyer.
Okay.
Hi, Canary Cry listeners. Are you ready for a Canary Cry camp out? Then escape up to the Sierra Buttes. Whether you are from Nevada or California, this gorgeous, curvy cruise up the mountains through Highway 49 will take you to a spectacular place that is unforgettable. Camp up here for the weekend, stay a couple days in a cabin, or even explore day trip accommodations. Mama Freya and Modern Day Bible Study will be hosting a barbecue for all the adventure-seeking travelers with a beautiful view of the Yuba River on Saturday, September 17th at 3:30 p.m. in the Sierra Pines Resort Meadow. Pack your gold pan, hiking gear, and river floaties, because this is a hidden gem. Gold country history still in the making, waiting for individuals to create lasting memories. Email mdbsmission@gmail.com for any information you need to book this last-minute trip. Bringing you extra energy to your weekend with Basil and Gons, and remember, think outside the cage.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that amazing?
Stepping it up.
That's what I was saying.
Stepping it up. Wow. Yeah. That was incredible. Okay. Well, I recommend. I mean, look, if you're trying to lure people to your meetup, throwing in a nice little audio advertisement. Ooh, people aren't going to like I use that word.
Yeah,
but an announcement. It's an announcement. That is so... I love our producers stepping it up. We did not do any of this meetup stuff. First, there was the meetups. Then there was the flyers. Then there were the announcements. I love it. Sierra City, California, September 17th. Go check it out.
It's an audio flyer.
Audio flyer. Thank you. Next up, we've got St. Paul, Minnesota, the Twin Cities meetup, September 24th. Let's see here.
And you got
Black Story Coffee Roasters, 11:11 a.m. on the 24th. Go check it out. Miranda.lopez1990@gmail.com. You can find all the contact over there at Canary Cry Meetups. Then we've got Mountain View, Arkansas, Pikeland Meetup, September 28th through 30th. Pikeland Meetup, let's see. Where are they going? Well, contact Surreal Gray, SURREAL Gray, GREY @gmail.com. It's going to be popping as well. Let's see here. That's it for September. But if you want to put one on yourself, just send us an email. Don't be intimidated by all the flyers. Don't be intimidated by the audio flyer. If all you got to do is pick a time and a place, tell us, and we'll tell the world. And if there's any Canarians near you, they will come out and you will make friends. It'll be awesome. We'll see you at the meetup.
This is fun!
Inescapable sadness continues to work, Gons. The ability for our dear producers to finally see how important it is to leave ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts. It's very important to us. It helps us out in ways that we cannot help ourselves. We have no control over the algorithms that share the show with people who have never seen it before. But when we get 5 or more reviews every week, the algorithms on Apple Podcasts share the show. I mean, we're already a slave to the algorithms. And why not have them work for us instead of against us? And the only way to help them, to make them work for us is to receive ratings and reviews from you guys. And we used to offer rewards like jingles and fun things like that, but that stopped being useful to changing your minds. Instead, apparently, the only motivating factor is the deep sense of loss and abandonment that I feel when we don't get ratings and reviews. Guns, you did not do ratings and reviews last week?
I did not.
Okay. Well, thankfully, I do see some came in last week, which is nice. But it is a new week. It is a new week, and we need reviews. Don't worry. If you left a rating and a review last week, we will thank you, and I will pour my gratitude at your feet, and we'll read those as well. But if you're listening this week, head on over to Apple Podcasts. 99.9% of you are listening to this show on Apple Podcasts right now. Just take a second. Please. 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 I know I was at Burning Man. I know I wasn't here. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. It was so hot. My generator didn't work for so long. Neither did my internet. I did find a hammock once, but it smelled like hippies. Stinky, stinky hippies. It was a smelly hammock. And so please go leave a rating and a review. I don't know what else to do. I'm at a loss.
I think that's enough.
Is that enough?
I don't want to hit 4 hours, so if we can speed it up here.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jam, for the articles, for the links.
Yes, thank you, Jam. Appreciate it.
And other than that, thank you very much for tuning in. Share the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. It's very important. Share it with your hippie friends. They are dusty. They smell unique. Okay? Unique. But they deserve love and the attention of our Heavenly Father as well.
Jesus loves them hippies too.
Go ahead and pray. Go ahead and pray for all your beautiful, stinky hippie friends. And, you know, some people like to share the show in a unique way. You don't need to do it in the normal way. You can express yourself and perhaps try to ingrain your sharing of the show with some sort of meaning or reverence or something. I don't know. But one thing you could do is just head out into the desert and build a giant podcast. Build a giant statue of a podcast. Make it out of something extremely flammable. And then all you really got to do is light it on fire. And there's some sort of aroma, or like moths to a magnet. The hippies from around the world will flock to the giant burning podcast structure that you have built. Some sort of temporary city will form around it and become some sort of power center for global influence and social engineering. And unlike someone else who has used this strategy in the past, the message that you will be disseminating into the minds and the hearts of people all around the world who are seeking a better world for humans and canaries alike, they will suddenly be overwhelmed and transformed by the message that the mainstream media, new corporate news organizations do not have their best interest in mind. And that's all we're trying to say here, folks. We like to call it rattling cages. And if you want any more instructions, here's what you do. You just walk right up to them, grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
Yeah, shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
Hey man, did you go to Burning Pod this year?
Burning Pod.
Thank you, Kira, in the chat. Yes, we're going to Burning
good.
Pod.
Yeah.
Okay, Gons, any last words?
No, thank you for everybody for tuning in. We'll see you on Friday.
Thank you for everybody.
Thank you for everybody. Thank you to everybody. What am I supposed to say? 2, 4? Sorry, I'm
You're
writing
not supposed to say anything right now because we're going to end the show.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We're back in business, and make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Yee.
Feels good. Feels good to say.
I really believe this is why God gave us two arms, one for the flu shot and the other one for the COVID shot.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
He's a Satanist from one of the Satanist churches here where they sacrifice babies.
You little rascal. I am so hot.
You're so hot.
I'm... Gons. I am so hot.
So hot.
Goodbye, everybody. And that's the end. And everyone says, oh, that was fun.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I'm out of here. Bye.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support